So, a fun fact about me is that I really hate reality cooking show competitions. Which I feel like is funny because anytime I mention to anyone, hey, I went to culinary school, I got my degree in baking and pastry, I worked in a fairly popular bakery in Chicago for a while, people's first immediate reaction is to ask me if I do watch those shows. And I don't know how to tell them no, because it weirdly triggers a PTSD that sends me back into those environments, which was not exactly healthy for anyone's mental health, if I'm being honest. Because I know a lot of people have joked about it online of being like, what is culinary school like? Is your final just you have spaghetti due at noon? And to a certain extent, yes, but imagine spaghetti is due at noon, and the environment is the first episode of Hell's Kitchen. Like, I swear, culinary school was a year and a half of me doing a reality cooking show competition, except if I lose, I go home with no money and actually in debt. And if I win, I don't get money, I get more debt. I also don't like the shows because I got my degree in baking and pastry, so I know the basics of cooking, but I don't truly know how to cook. So when I watch those reality cooking show competitions, I look and I'm like, oh my god, I went to school for this, kind of, but look at all of these people that are better than me. So I guess there are a few competition cooking shows that I tolerate or enjoy, like Nailed It. Nailed It's a really good one. I like watching it. People don't like watching it with me because I shout at the television like a grown man watching football. Like, oh my god. Do you see her? Do you see what's going on right here? This is insane! This girl's using sugar in her sculpture instead of isomalt. What a stupid fucking... But another cooking show that I very much enjoy is Worst Cooks of America, because if you don't know how the show is set up, they take quite literally the worst cooks in America. They do auditions. They have family members and friends come onto the show, be like, hey, this person, real bad cook. And I'm not talking in the way of like, oh, their knife cuts are a little off, or like, oh, the seasoning isn't there. I'm talking they have sent multiple people to the hospital over their incompetency of cooking food, or they have had to call the fire department multiple times because they have almost burned down or have actually burned down their kitchen over making like pasta, and they forgot to add the pasta, and they just let the water boil, and then they were heating a metal pot for several hours. Like, bad cooks, which obviously makes me feel better about myself, especially the first challenge of the first episode, because the show is built on teaching these worst cooks of America slowly how to cook. But the first challenge, they're just like, show us what you know, show us what you got, and they don't know anything. They got nothing. So I decided it would be real interesting for me to rank every single first dish from every single season of Worst Cooks in America. Minus 3 seasons, but we'll get to that when we get there. But I went through the first episodes of the seasons, I got screenshots of all of the dishes that they showed, little descriptions, and I'm gonna be ranking them in a tier list. So we got this nice little tier list that I've made, and this nice little rainbow here. It's Pride Month as I'm currently recording this. Do not know if this is gonna be posted during Pride Month. We'll see. Anyway, I've created 6 different categories, and each of them have their own special, unique little characteristic that made me decide where to put all of the dishes. So starting off with the highest tier, we got the S tier up here, which is I would actually eat this, and I would enjoy it. Obviously, it's not gonna be like a 5-star meal, but it's gonna be a meal that you would get at a restaurant that has like 2 stars on Yelp, and all of the comments are like, oh, the staff is so rude, the food takes forever to order, my order was messed up, but also it's been open for the last 20 years, and there are still regular customers inside there on a daily basis, so you know they're coming there for something. It's for the food because it's good, or this category can also be labeled as, I think the judges are picky. Like, yeah, I went to culinary school, I understand what good food tastes like, but I also know what bad good food tastes like, and I think this would be labeled as, like, good, bad food. Like, these chefs would obviously say, like, a Big Mac at McDonald's is bad. And is it bad? Yeah, but I'm still gonna eat the whole thing. Next up, we have A tier right here, which is, I would eat half of it, and then I would also remember that better food exists out there, and I can just eat that For example, imagine you order DoorDash or Uber Eats or some delivery food from a restaurant you've never heard of, and you think it sounds good at the time, so you order it, you get it delivered, you open the food, you start eating it, you're like, it's okay, it's not what I was expecting, but I'll still eat it because I paid for it, and then you get halfway through the meal and then you remember like, oh, actually I have like a bag of microwavable popcorn in the back of my cabinet. I wouldn't mind eating that as the rest of the meal. Obviously I wasn't gonna have it just as a meal by itself, but I can definitely substitute the half of the meal that I'm not gonna finish. It's gonna be that thing where you put it back in your fridge because you're like, maybe I'll eat it tomorrow, and then it rots there until you clean out your fridge. That is what A tier is. Moving on to B tier, which is I would still eat half of it, but only if it was presented to me by someone who I love and care for deeply. Like, for example, if I went over to a friend's house because they said they were cooking dinner and I had never had any of their cooking before and they presented me this meal, I would eat half of it because I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I would also suggest from then on out only going out to eat or going over to my house to eat because I'm not letting them cook me anything ever again. However, the key to this tier is that I still would allow myself to eat half of it. I wouldn't enjoy eating half of it, but I still think I could manage / stomach eating half of it. Because C tier, that is not the case. C tier is, imagine you're at a family gathering, a barbecue, a potluck of some sort, where everyone brings food, and you go up to the table and you grab yourself some food and you see that dish, and you're like, I'm not gonna get any of that. It doesn't really look good. It doesn't look like it's gonna taste good. I'm gonna ignore it. However, the person that made the dish comes up to you while you are eating and says, oh my God, did you try any of my food? You didn't? Well, you should. So you go back up to the table and you grab the tiniest piece you can find, but you still eat it. Because again, that is the differentiating factor between the C tier and the D tier. Because D tier is, I don't want to eat that. But I would eat a bite of it if you gave me like 25 to 50 bucks depending on the size of the bite, because no, I don't want to eat that. But there is a lot of things that I don't want to do in my life that I would absolutely do for 25 to 50 bucks. This is one of those things. And lastly, we have E tier, which at this point I feel like should be F tier because it is fucked. I'm talking the thought of eating this dish makes me physically cringe, not even eating it. Just thinking about me like touching my tongue to the meal makes me physically want to curl up into a ball and die, meaning that if I did try to eat some of this food, I would definitely gag, if not vomit up everything that I had eaten that day. So with the tiers being said, I'm gonna be ranking every season individually, as well as making a master list and adding the seasons into that, because I think there's over 200 pictures that I've collected. So yeah, with that being said, let's get started with season 1. So welcome to the contestants of season 1. You would think with it being season 1, they would have found the worst of the worst cooks in America, because that's what the show is about. Weirdly enough, I feel like it only gets worse from season 1. So starting off the pack, we got Rachel Coleman's 3 cheese mac and cheese, which was made with cheddar, cottage cheese, smoked Gouda, and what looks like peas. It seems to be like a breadcrumb crust on top, but apparently none of the cheese was melted. I still fuck with unmelted cheese. If it's just like, if it's cold noodles and peas and just a bunch of cheese in a bowl, I think I would still fuck with that. Until I remembered that I can make better mac and cheese. So yeah, I think we're putting that in the A tier. Next up, we got Susie Showman, who made, soup. Because in season 1, the judges and the people making the show weren't too focused on contestants using either like store-bought ingredients or like already kind of pre-made ingredients. So there's a lot of that going on in season 1. And when I tell you this lady truly did nothing but opened 4 different cans of Campbell's soup and then poured them into a pot and cooked it, that is what she did. That is what she made. In all honesty, that sounds like something I would do. Like take a can of like tomato soup base and then mix that with chicken noodle and then add something spicy. I think this is something that I would do and I would fuck with heavily, to the point where I would keep the leftovers in my fridge and I would eat the leftovers. So I think that's going in the A tier, because you can't fuck up pre-made soup. It's pre-made soup. Speaking of pre-made soup, next up we got Hamed, who literally just made Campbell's tomato soup. That's it. The other lady at least put some effort into it by opening 4 separate cans. This man literally gave the judges Campbell's tomato soup. Yeah, no, I fuck with that even more than the 4 soups that were put together. Like, maybe she messed up the 4 soups that were put together. Maybe the flavor combination wasn't exactly right, but this man followed the instructions on the can. It's literally just Campbell's tomato soup. I eat that on occasion anyway. Fun fact, the guy that made the tomato soup, Hamed, also went home first of the season because the judges kept saying that he wasn't putting enough effort into things, and for a cooking competition to present tomato soup from a can, I get it, yeah. Next up on the chopping block is Rachel Clark, who made pad thai, except she put so much soy sauce in it, quite literally almost the entire bottle, to the point where the sodium content made it basically inedible. However, it's very, very weird because in season 1, they did this thing where they invited a bunch of people onto the show and tasted their first dish, but some of them they decided, yeah, you're bad at cooking, but you're not the worst at cooking, so actually, you don't need to be on the show. Like, yeah, you're really bad, but you have to find help elsewhere. See you later. And this is one of those people, which I find very, very weird. However, I can deal with a lot of sodium. I am someone who has at one point, like, taken a shot of soy sauce and been like, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not good. I definitely feel like if a friend served me this for dinner, I would be like, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not good. How about we go out? That's always an option. Up next, we got David Stumey, or Stummy. I am unsure of how to pronounce it, but I do know he made triple chocolate pancakes, which don't look that bad until you notice how dark they are in some spots and you realize that's not chocolate, that is charcoal, that is burnt, that is not gonna taste good. Apparently they were also extremely chewy, very bitter, possibly contained 0 sugar, and the judges said it was the worst thing that they tasted so far, which isn't saying a whole lot considering this is still season 1. But if I looked at this plate at a family function, I would possibly grab like one of these little tiny ones, like the one in the back that doesn't look burnt. I would cut that in half, cover it in maple syrup, and hope for the best. So it's going in the C tier. After that, we got Craig Morris, who made, I genuinely don't know. They didn't say what he made on the show. If I had to guess based off of the picture, I would guess a deconstructed chicken fajita or something. But even then, I am very sketched out about all of the vegetables going on here. I see like what might be a jalapeno or like a green pepper, and literally just the entire grilled green onion on top. The beans look concerning to me. I think I would be able to eat the tortilla, some of the chicken, maybe some of the vegetables, but I wouldn't eat anything else. I think this is gonna be an A tier, and I think it's gonna be lower than just noodles and raw cheese and peas. But Craig was also one of those people that was told, hey, you're not the worst cook in America. You don't have to be here anymore. I would like to argue with the judges about that a little bit. Here's Rebecca Hooper, to be more specific, and she made a cheddar broccoli pasta with an added can of cream of mushroom soup. She was told it was under-seasoned, the vegetables were overcooked, and the noodles looked dry as shit. I would still eat it though. I mean, I understand all of the components. Overcooked vegetables aren't the worst thing in the world, especially if it's broccoli. It's just gonna weirdly melt in your mouth. It doesn't look bad. I feel like this is another A tier. Below the raw cheese and above, oh no, and above the fajitas, because I'm still not exactly sure what's in those beans. They scare me a little bit if I'm being honest. Next up, we got Sophia Geddes, who made a spin on the traditional Thanksgiving meal. She made a turkey meatloaf, which was made with ground turkey, pureed yams, and cinnamon and sugar. I don't think you should add sugar to any meatloaf, turkey or otherwise. However, at the exact same time, I'm kinda curious. What would a sweet potato pie with turkey taste like? I don't know, but you would have to pay me to find out, because I would not eat it on my own accord. Next up, we got Marquis Hernandez, who made asparagus, red potatoes, and what I think to be a pork tenderloin that he cut up. First off, I have to point out the fact that the asparagus has no tops. This man cut off the tops of the asparagus, which is like the best part of the asparagus, which I think is fun. What else is fun is that Anne Burrell, one of the chefs of the show, actively spit out the pork, which is the first time anyone has ever had to spit out anything in the Worst Cooks in America sequence. It will not be the last. This is the first, though. However, if I'm being completely honest, it doesn't look that bad. Like, I don't know, it looks pretty good. Like, I think I would fuck with those red potatoes. The asparagus, yeah, you cut off the top of it, but it's still asparagus. So if it's flavored well, apparently it's not flavored well because she spit it out, but I don't know. I struggled with this tier list. If you want to do your own tier list and you want to fight me on any of these things, you can do it. Because Lord Jesus, is this hell? This is purgatory. This series, I've just gotten started. We're still on season 1. Anyway, it's a B tier. So next up, we got Patty Hughes's goulash, which before I show you what she made, let me quickly show you some pictures of what goulash should look like. You know, and this is hers. Very, very different. I see some burning on top. I think those are lentils or some sort of bean equivalent. I'm not sure. She says it's goulash and the judges said it's not horrible, but she was also voted one of not the worst cooks of the season. And again, I would like to fight the judges on this because this is obviously C tier. So next up we have Marcus Santi, who made chicken kebabs. And as you are looking at this dish, let me tell you a couple things that this man said, and I quote during the judging of his dish. Raw is real. I don't really eat for pleasure. I am eating for the fuel. And that is very heavily radiated from his plate. I also have to mention that the mushrooms on the skewer are raw. So are the carrots. So are the bell peppers. So is the tomato. So is the onion. The chicken was cooked though. Overcooked, actually. And I still feel like I would eat this. This feels like something that I would order from like a health-conscious restaurant, not realizing that it's a health-conscious restaurant. This is just something like fucking fitness bros make on a daily basis. And I'm not saying it's gonna be good, but I am saying that it is gonna be better than whatever the chicken fajita plate was. I also have to mention that he was another one of the people that was voted not one of the worst cooks and didn't continue the season. That one I will not argue with the judges on. If he knows how to make that, then he's set for life. What else do you need other than chicken and rice? Next up, we got Eddie Schudel, who made this lovely dish of nothing but beige and green. He says it's his date night dish, which is couscous, chicken, and asparagus. And the couscous doesn't look bad. Like, I've only had couscous out of a box, and that's basically what it looks like. The asparagus doesn't look too bad either. But the chicken, just by the picture itself, I know is dry as fuck. Like, there is no moisture left in that thing. It's gonna be chewy. You're gonna be eating that piece of chicken like it's fucking bubblegum. And I can't do it. Again, the couscous looks nice. The asparagus looks like there's nothing wrong with it. So I think that's gonna be a high B tier because you cannot pay me to eat that chicken. I mean, you could, but then that would be in D tier, and I would happily eat everything else. So yeah, no, B tier. Next up, we got Eddie Chang, who made fried rice. That looks like fried rice to you guys, right? That's what fried rice looks like. Apparently, he added so much salt into it that it basically dehydrated the eggs. And if we're going based off of sodium content, we gotta compare this to the pad thai from earlier. It's definitely not gonna be as good as the pad thai, but I think it's gonna be better than the pork that was spit out. I can handle quite a bit of sodium. Do I think I'll be able to eat the whole thing? No. Would I maybe eat half of it to appease a friend? Yeah, probably. This video is just me proving to myself that I am an extreme people pleaser. Up next, we got Kelly Johnson, who made pasta pocket creation. Don't know where the pocket part comes into play, but I know it's made with noodles, cheese, olives, pineapple, for crunch. As she said, I put in quotations because I think she used canned pineapple if I remember correctly. She also used a powdered sauce, but it does not look like there is any liquid on the plate, so I don't know what happened to the sauce. I don't know, maybe I would eat an olive or two, maybe I would eat part of a noodle. All I know is that I think it's going low B. Real low B. Can I interest anyone in Wilhelma Josephine's root dish creation? Which is just whole turnips that were carved out and stuffed with asparagus and rhubarb, and those are also rutabagas, and tri-tip steak. She served it in the frying pan. She did not put it on another plate. She didn't put it on a serving dish at all. She straight up brought the pan she cooked it in to the judges. The judges said it was the worst dish of the challenge. I personally don't think so, though. There are still 3 dishes that are left that I believe are worse than this. And that's saying something. It's definitely, don't get me wrong, it's low C tier. But I would still eat part of asparagus. I would not, however, take a bite of the fucking Ignore the lighting that's going on in my apartment right now. But honestly, you're not gonna care about the fucking lighting when I show you Jennifer Cross's peanut butter encrusted cod. Oh god, this is easy, a fucking F tier. This is a physical cringe. Why is there so much oil at the bottom of the plate? How the fuck did you burn peanut butter? Why the fuck would you combine peanut butter and fish? I can understand where a possible flavor combination would be okay here. You know, you got like peanut oils, peanut sauces that are pretty good. I would pair that with a white fish. However, this ain't it. Oh my fucking god. Fun fact though, peanut butter encrusted cod lady was the runner-up of the season though. The person that won was actually this lady that made the 3 cheese mac and cheese. But I'm real impressed that this person, you know, got 2nd place. Are y'all ready for a jump scare? Bam! What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Oh boy, let me tell you, this is Savon Mancunis's boiled chicken. This man boiled a whole chicken before covering it in an unknown orange mushroom sauce and 2 slices of Swiss cheese. Was somehow voted not one of the worst cooks and did not continue the season, and I will physically fight Anne Burrell on that. What the fuck is this? I don't know, but for 50 bucks, I would try one of the legs, let me tell ya. And the last person in season 1 is Jennifer Vercchio, I believe is how you pronounce that last name. And she made a tuna mac. I don't know. It was called bland. It was called fishy. Those are 2 very separate flavors. I don't like either of them, but I would still probably eat this. It's not the worst looking dish ever, so I think it's gonna go the lowest A tier because I would definitely eat whatever else is on this plate. Again, minus the beans. I keep bringing it back to the beans. They look so fucking weird to me. But to be fair, whatever this substance is covered in, whatever the noodles, whatever the tomatoes, the olives, whatever it's covered in, concerns me and scares me. I would still probably eat half of it though. I've had some weird tuna creation type things. Anyway, that is the first season and this is the ranking. Okay, so we got main list here, keeping it going, but we're also doing season 2 now. So we're gonna do a different tier ranking and then add the season 2 pictures into the main ranking as well. So who's ready for season 2? And we're starting off the season strong with Eric Rapero, who made cherry chicken. This man cooked chicken in maraschino cherry juice, and if I've talked about my hatred for anything, it's fucking maraschino cherries, because you should not be able to put a fruit into a syrup and let it sit in a shelf, in non-refrigerated place for upwards of 20 years. That is not natural. I also don't like cherries or the taste of cherries, so for the sake of everyone else, I will put this in C tier. For me personally, this is definitely an F tier, but I can see kind of how I might be able to eat like 1 piece of onion from this at a family function. Next up, we got Kat Rose, who made what she calls a smorgasbord quiche that includes chicken, eggs, and whole fucking peppercorns. Oh my god, you know the thing that you're supposed to put in like stock, soups, or sauces, or if you want it in like actual food, you should grind it into a powder, you know, like ground black pepper that comes from black peppercorns, that she just put into a quiche and then combined that with the fact that the eggs are crispy. Oh my god, no, I feel like I would need to be paid like 25 bucks at minimum to eat a whole peppercorn, let alone combine it with fucking crunchy eggs. Ah! Next up, we got Lena Yu, who made bloody eggs, which sounds horrific, but it's literally just tomato, eggs, and ketchup. Like, it's scrambled eggs and ketchup. That's fucking good. Like, the name throws me off, but if you didn't tell me it was bloody eggs and you told me this is tomatoes and scrambled eggs, I would fuck that shit up. After that, we got another egg-based dish. We got Anna Altamari, who made a frittata. Looks like it's got some spinach. I don't know if that's like a yellow pepper or unmelted cheese, but the judges said that she added so much oil she basically fried everything, and that sounds pretty good. But I also still don't know what those yellow things in the mixture are, so I think this is something that I would eat around those, and then I would substitute the rest of the meal with something else. Next up, we got Jennifer McLean, who made Zippy Chicken Mac, which is weird because she did not use macaroni noodles, and that's usually why people say mac. That's fine. There's a lot of things that people make in this show that they say is something, and it definitely isn't. But I don't know. The noodles look slightly undercooked. The cheese on top is not melted. When the judges tried the chicken sauce combination thing, they described it as quote unquote yuck. But there are quite a few noodles that aren't touching the sauce. I do think I would still eat the cheese on top, and I would make my friend fairly happy if they gave this to me at a dinner party, because I would eat everything but the sauce, which is, I would say, like maybe 35–40% of the meal, so I would still basically eat over half. After that, we got Ty Miller, who made Thai Surprise, but not Thai like his name, Tyler, T-Y, Thai as in Thailand Thai. I am unfamiliar with Thailand cuisine, so I'm unsure of how this relates back. A lot of people will say a lot of cultural places that their dish was inspired from, only for no ingredients in that dish to be related to any of those countries. So I don't know if this is one of those things, but I do know that the dish includes some sort of fish, peppers, onion. It's all mixed into the rice. There's just a green apple on the side. I would eat the green apple, but I am unsure of what this brown thing is in here. I don't know if that is burnt side of pan or if that is fish, but it scares me a little bit. Weirdly enough, would still prefer to eat it over the cherry chicken, so C tier it is. So I completely understand that like chili and mango has become a very popular flavor combination nowadays, but imagine you put that on chicken. That's what Matt Crespi did. This man made mango chicken with what looks like jalapenos on top or some sort of pepper, but he also used canned mangoes. This man did not cut a mango. He used mangoes from a can, which are not ripe. They are sour. This man made sour, spicy chicken. You know that the sour flavor of unripe fruit? Imagine that on meat. I would still probably eat a chunk of mango though. I'm not gonna lie, this season has a lot of C's. Is this the first example we get to play of the game? Oh yes! Next up is Priscilla Harden, and we get to play the game, Guess That Protein. What meat do we think this is? Please guess below, because I was confused at first too. Apparently, it's salmon. Would you guess that color on top would be salmon? Because I wouldn't either. I don't know what it is. It could be I have no idea. It's salmon though. I also don't know what anything on the plate is. I know this is rice. This looks like white rice. This looks like maybe some sort of like cauliflower thing. I have no fucking clue what this is. I'm not even entirely sure if this is different from this. I don't know, but in all honesty, at least I know the fish is cooked. Like, yeah, it's burnt, and I would eat the white rice. Weirdly enough, this is B tier. Is that correct? Is that the right place that I put that? I guess. I am rethinking my choices for this video and also whether or not I should continue with this video for the safety and sanity of my mental health. We got George Coleman, who made fruity turkey meatballs. He described it as a party on a plate. It includes noodles, olives, apples, dill, oats, almonds, other things I'm not sure of. I could keep going. I don't want to anymore. I don't really want to think about this anymore. I mean, I would eat an olive. I would eat a noodle. I would not touch any of the balls. Don't like handling balls. But if we're doing fruit meat combinations, I gotta put it with the other fruit meat combination, and weirdly enough, I would prefer to have the cherry chicken. Because at least I know that has one fruit. That is the flavor I'm gonna get. I don't know what flavor I'm gonna get from that. And here we are with the second installment of Guess That Protein. What meat do you think tops that random citrus rice combination? What do we think Jeff Loncourt made? If you said supercharged chicken stir fry, you would be right. You would probably be wrong, because I don't think that's stir fry, but that's what Jeff says it is. He also paired it with a wine, and the only thing that the judges said about the dish was that they were thankful for the wine, and they were thankful that they were able to get drunk. So with that being said, it honestly doesn't look that bad. I mean, I don't think chicken should be that color or look like it's candied for some reason. Like, it has a sheen, a glow on it that I am both intrigued and horrified by. But you know what? I love a bit of orange. Would eat all of the citrus on the outside. I don't care if I have to eat a fucking lemon to support my friend. Yeah, no, I think this is a B tier. Where in the B tier? I think far into the B tier. I think that's a good place to put it. After that, we got this beautiful creation. Look at that smile, the little tongue sticking out. That's adorable. We got Erica Rumsey's bologna and cheese quesadilla, which is entirely made of squeezed cheese. Which I'm not saying that squeezy cheese is good, but I do occasionally enjoy it. And as badly as I want to put this in S tier, I know that the squeezy cheese would be too much at one point. I would eat all of the crackers around it, probably half of the quesadilla, before I realized, hey, I have tortillas, I have shredded cheese, I don't have bologna. I don't need the bologna. I don't need the sodium content in that, but it is gonna be top of the A tier, absolutely. We got Anthony Saito's athlete salad, which definitely looks like something an athlete would eat. Again, it seems like something that I would order from a health-conscious restaurant, not realizing it's a health-conscious restaurant. And I would eat half of this and then reward myself with an entire bag of potato chips as compensation for eating half of a shitty salad. They said that the chicken was a little overcooked, but it doesn't look nearly as dry as the shit from season 1, so I think weirdly enough, I'm gonna have to put this in A tier. Low A tier, definitely. Random question for all of the vegetarians out there, and maybe the vegans can answer this question too. If you were on a reality cooking competition, would you decide that that is the perfect time for you to cook meat for the first time? Cause that's what Kelly Gray did, and look at that! Kelly's a vegetarian, and she's like, you know what I'm gonna do? What did she call it? Oh my god. Okay, so she called it, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation. She called it the French word for beef, which is boeuf. I'm so sorry, B-O-E-U-F. Anyway, the judges compared it to beef jerky. She took steak and made it into a raisin. And because of that, I definitely am gonna have to be paid to eat the raisin meat. The thick-ass beef jerky that was not prepared by someone who knows how to make beef jerky. Again, if I, in my brain, tell myself it's beef jerky, I think I could get a piece down for 30 bucks. Next up, we got Carlos Manuel, who made Hawaiian chicken. Have no idea where the Hawaii part comes into it because the chicken is stuffed with mozzarella and olives. Neither come from Hawaii. I don't know why he called it Hawaiian chicken, but honestly, it doesn't look that bad. I assume this is like a Alfredo sauce on top. They got like what looks to be a slightly undercooked mashed potato. You know what? Fuck it. We're putting it in the C tier. High C tier. Because I'm just very confused. Where? Have you been to Hawaii, Carlos? Next up, we got Joshi Burger, who made shashuka, which again, if you don't know what that is, let me show you some proper images of what shashuka should actually look like. And this is Joshi's. Little bit of a difference. Usually the egg is whole in the shashuka. You know, this looks like it's scrambled on top, and this man said, and I quote, "It can't be that bad because it's spicy." I don't know why, but a lot of people in this cooking competition reality show think that if you just shove as much spice into something as you can, then it can't taste bad because it's spicy. That is not a mentality that you should have, and I am scared because I don't actually know what this like red powder on top is. I don't know if it's paprika, I don't know if it's chili powder, I don't know if it's some godforsaken fucking spice that's gonna rip my asshole apart, but I'm scared. Not as scared as I am with everything else though, so actually pretty scared. We're gonna put a low C, but I would still probably eat some of this if I was told to. Also, fun fact, he won the season, which I kind of get. Like, he put a lot of effort into the dish. I mean, it's not good, but he put a lot of effort into it, and he knows of different cuisines, so I'll give him that. Also, the runner-up of the season was Fruity Meatball Dude. And the last dish of this season had the same mentality as the last person, which is, it can't be bad if you're coughing and wheezing the whole time because of the spices. So Kelsey Milos here made red hot chicken and essentially pepper sprayed the entire kitchen while making it, because if you didn't know, spices bond to oil very well. So if all of a sudden the oil starts smoking, the pepper is going to bond to that oil and it is going to cause a pepper spray while you are cooking. It is literally going to feel like your eyes and all of your skin is burning. Again, this is the first time it's happening. Not gonna be the last, but I am not a big person that does well with spice. I, as you can see, am very white. I only started eating spicy foods like a couple years ago. I still can't tolerate it. So this, I know, would actually kill me. I would still try it though. If someone was like, hey, this is super spicy, I'll give you 50 bucks if you try it. Absolutely! I'll ruin my body for 50 bucks. So here is the final season 2 ranking. Surprisingly, no F tiers. And here is the ranking compared to season 1. This is season 1 and season 2 combined. So let's move on to season 3. Season 3 is pretty fun because I get both the name and the dish for basically every contestant. So here we got Bob Tomke, who made chicken with mashed cauliflower. The judges said that the cauliflower was raw. I'm not sure how you mash cauliflower if it's raw, but he managed to do it. The judges also said that the food tasted sad. Honestly, I fucking love a good like cauliflower dish. Like something mashed. Honestly, the chicken looks pretty good. It's got some vegetables. The vegetables look pretty good. I think I would order this from somewhere. And then halfway through the mashed cauliflower dish, I'm like, you know what? Mashed potatoes sound good. Got a pack of instant stuff in my cabinet. Next up, we got Anthony Shinato, who made shrimp stir fried. Anthony, buddy, let me tell you something. Shrimp shouldn't be that fucking color. What did you do to the shrimp that they're tan now? Borderline brown. Added a lot of soy sauce, that's what. And I said before that I could handle a lot of soy sauce, but that shrimp shouldn't be that color. I'm physically cringing. I think this is going in an E tier or the F tier, whatever it is. I don't want to eat it. Nothing on that plate should be that color. After that, we got David Shelton, who made dishwasher salmon. I say in quotations because the Worst Cooks in America kitchen doesn't have a dishwasher. Like, they expect other people to do the dishes. Like, they don't expect the contestants to do it, so why would they need a dishwasher? But he usually makes it in the dishwasher, you know, curl it up in tin foil, set it in there, hit the load cycle, you know, a couple hours the dishwasher goes on for, and then the salmon's done. And he didn't know how to use an oven, so he put it in the oven for a very long time, and the salmon got very overcooked. I would prefer it to be overcooked than undercooked, and honestly, even if it was cooked in a dishwasher, I would still probably eat it. It doesn't look that bad. Maybe like a B tier. I'll go with a B tier. Next up, we got Sean Bennett's what he calls a cheesy party. I'm not exactly sure what that entails other than what looks like a really thick tomato soup, half of a grilled cheese, and then some sort of like Italian bread with something on it and also cheese. I fuck hard with cheese. I fucking love cheese. I think I would fuck this up. This sounds amazing. I don't know what the judges are talking about. They're like, it has no flavor. I'm like, it's cheese. Cheese has flavor. The flavor is cheese. Fucking love cheese. Next up, we got Dorothy Struhall, who made Southern Fried Vanilla Chicken. Or Vanilla Fried Chicken. I don't know. She fried chicken and added vanilla into it somewhere. It, already looking at the picture, looks dark. It looks a little crispy, a little burnt. Knowing that there's vanilla in it, I can understand a little where she's coming from, like the flavor profile. Like vanilla isn't inherently sweet unless you add sugar with it, so I can understand where a vanilla chicken would come in. Maybe. But I also understand why no one's selling vanilla flavored chicken and spit it out. So, nah, I think I'm gonna have to go with D tier. Not only is it burnt, I don't know if there's cinnamon in it either, because she has this like stick of cinnamon garnishing it too. Cinnamon vanilla chicken. No, I'm good. I will take money for a bite. Next up is Benjamin Dennis's blackened tilapia, which a common theme I noticed while watching the show is that people don't know what blackened means. In a culinary perspective, it's covering whatever meat you're cooking, it's usually a meat, in a thick layer of spice that while you're cooking it kind of blackens it but doesn't burn it. People on Worst Cooks of America thinks it means burnt. If it's burnt, that means it's the blackened version of it. So this is blackened tilapia. Cause it's burnt tilapia. It's served with a long grained rice, and apparently the fish has a lot of heat, a lot of spice, which doesn't sound too bad. Like, yeah, it looks overcooked, and I am unsure. There is a lot of black speckles in there that I am unsure of what that is. I would still probably eat half of it though. The rice also looks undercooked, if I'm being completely honest. So like part of the rice before I realize that it's getting all stuck in my teeth because it's still kind of crunchy, and then like half of one of the, probably this one, this side one, but I would not eat both of them. Yeah, sure, we'll put it in the B tier, but it's definitely, the blackened tilapia is above the dishwasher salmon. That's fine in my book. After that, we got Erica Wiedner's everything omelet. I am unsure of what everything entails, and that's a little spooky to me. That's a little scary to me, but the judges said it would be good hangover food. And I fuck with me some hangover food. That sounds delicious. They said it was really greasy, so it would kill me because I personally no longer have a gallbladder, and that's the function of a gallbladder, is to process out the oils in your food and in your body. So I definitely think that this would give me the shits, and I would end up only eating half of it, but it sounds pretty good, the half of it that is there. Next up, we got Cheryl Moss Solomon, who made pork chops with... That is not mac and cheese. I am concerned with the amount of people that think mac and cheese just involves any noodle. Mac is short for macaroni, which is a type of noodle. That is not mac and cheese that I've seen before. Don't know what the little green pieces in it is. Also, the judges said that the pork chop was overly covered in flour, which made it kind of doughy. And combine those things together, I think we have our first C tier of the season. I'm so sketched out by the mac and cheese. We're on to our next round of what protein is that? It's so dark on the top. If you said chicken, you would technically be correct. If you picked charcoal, that I feel like also would technically be correct. To be fair though, I feel like everything else looks pretty good. Like that looks like pasta, just boiled and with some sort of like, I don't know, canned or jarred sauce. There's tomatoes around it. I feel like if I scraped off the burnt part, it wouldn't be too bad. Maybe B tier. Low B tier. You know what? No, we're putting it before the dishwasher salmon or after the dishwasher salmon. I'm so confused. My brain is melting. We're only on season 3. After that, we got Libby Floyd for Libby's Sparkalicious Salmon. I don't know why it's Sparkalicious, because the judges called it undercooked and underwhelming, and that doesn't sound very Sparkalicious to me. It sounds raw, but they didn't say raw, they said undercooked. She was also the first person to be sent home. I don't know, weirdly trust it slightly more than the dishwasher salmon. Does that make sense in your brain? Because it doesn't in mine, but I still wrote it down, so. Okay, so next up is kind of a weird one because for some of these, they didn't present it to the judges, or they did present it to the judges and it just wasn't filmed or shown in the show. So I kind of had to like sneak snapshots while they were still preparing the dish. So the ground beef with Sabrina Wurjaprajunk. Oh, I'm so sorry for butchering your last name. Wurjaprajunk is, I think, how you pronounce that. I'm sorry. She made a breakfast scramble over rice. It looks like eggs and some sort of ground meat. And then it's just rice and ketchup and I don't know. I wasn't given a whole lot of information for this one, but it looks pretty good. And I feel like if the judges don't say anything, that means it's kind of good. Or at least that's how I interpreted it in culinary school. Where if a chef ate your food and said, okay, and then nothing else, that is the highest compliment you could have received. So I feel like if they weren't actively shamed in the judging round, then they had nothing bad to say. So I'm not gonna put this in S tier because I am concerned what kind of spices are on top of whatever egg meat mixture there is, but I will put it in A tier above whatever other egg weird mixture thing is over here. We got Kelly Powers with a curry Cajun chicken. Now looking at this looks like something that would be called blackened. Like there's a shit ton of seasoning on it. It doesn't look burnt, but it does look darker in color. Like, I would consider this blackened catfish because blackened food is also very common in Cajun cooking. But the judges said that the Cajun seasoning and the curry seasoning did not work well together. Very much understand that. That is two different flavor profiles that you were shoving together. I also don't know why so many people cooked fish this season, but I think this is on the lower side of it. Even though she won the season, Kelly won the season, but I'm still putting her low C tier. We're actually gonna skip the next one because it's this girl named Melissa. She made a pizza. I could not for the life of me find a finished picture of said pizza, so this is the best I got, but I feel like I can't judge this because it's not what she served to the judges, so moving on. But we got Richard Chen's Pho Fusion Soup. I don't know what the fusion is, but the judges said it was really greasy. However, this looks like something that I would order as takeout and I would thoroughly enjoy before I drank all of the broth and all of the shit out of it and then just the noodles were left and then I'm like, I don't want just noodles. But also, that was like 50% of the dish, so I need to eat something else to supplement the fact that I'm not gonna eat all of these tiny weird noodles. Why are they broken up like this? I don't know. I still think I would enjoy it though, so like low A tier. This is another one that I had to like sneakily take a picture of while they were still cooking because I don't think the judges tried it, or they did try it and they didn't say anything because it is quite literally nothing but a grilled cheese. So, you know, A tier because it's a fucking grilled cheese. I fucking love cheese! And the last of this season to be judged and put into the tier list is Vinnie Calgary, who made spaghetti and meatballs. I didn't even need to hear from the judges that the pasta is undercooked. Oh my, why is it looks crunchy? How did you make noodles that are wavy, but they still look crunchy? They also said that the meatballs were tough, but the meatballs included onions, garlic, some other stuff that when he was asked what are in the meatballs, could not remember. He was the runner-up of the season though, so I think spaghetti and meatballs, like I'm not gonna enjoy the noodles, but it's a marinara sauce and it looks like it's fairly well seasoned with the onions and the garlic, so I guess B tier. Hi B tier, welcome to the final ranking of season 3. So that is season 1, season 2, season 3, and now we are moving on to season 4. Starting off strong with Alana Bolshaksva with a bacon chicken pyramid. I don't know what makes it a pyramid. That is not a pyramid shape, but she beat the chicken flat with a mallet. And Anne didn't try it because she said it scares her. She also said, the contestant, not the judges, the contestant said, and this is a common theme with these cooks too, is that they overcook food because then you know it's not gonna get anyone sick. No one died from overcooked chicken. Undercooked chicken is a very different story. However, I am also scared of this a little bit. The mashed potatoes don't look bad. The vegetables look like they were, you know, from like a frozen bag or a can or something, so I'd definitely eat those. But as much as I love bacon, that bacon's real crispy. We'll put it in a B. Next we got Chet Porchow, who made shrimp creole, which was not said or talked about in the judging process. I had to take a picture of it during the plating portion of the whole competition, but it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's the color that shrimp is supposed to be, which is apparently hard to do on this show. So I don't know, I'd probably eat half of it before remembering that I don't need to eat shrimp for the whole meal. Because that's a lot of shrimp if I'm being honest. Don't get me wrong, love endless shrimp from, I don't know, Red Lobster's is like starting to close down, but God, that's a lot of shrimp. Up next, we got Carla Johnson's Ride or Die enchiladas. Don't know what makes them ride or die. What I do know is that Carla was wearing acrylic nails, fake nails, while she was cooking, and all of a sudden she went to present the judges with the dish and she realized she was missing one. And with that information alone, I think we get that into a solid C tier. If one of my family members came up to me and presented me with a dish at a cookout and said, "Here, I made these enchiladas," and I noticed they were missing a nail, immediately I'm good. Oh, you want me to taste a little bit? Let me make sure this one isn't, this one's nail free. Please, let me assure myself that I am not eating acrylic. Who's ready for a jump scare? Bam. Oh my God, what is that? That is Robert Schaefer's college dorm chili, which is canned chili, which I am already sketched out about, combined with bourbon and spices. Alcoholic canned chili is not something that I want to try. That is a physical cringe. That is, oh God, no, please, no, Bob, no. Dr. Bob. I don't even think he has a doctorate, because when I looked his name up on like the Worst Cooks of America Wikipedia, never mind, I went back to the Wikipedia and it specifically says Robert, in quotations, Dr. Bob, which confused me, and I thought he wasn't a real doctor, but he's a chiropractor, which I believe you need a doctorate for. I don't want this man anywhere near me knowing that this food is what he fucking created. We're here for another round of Guess That Protein. I know it says in the corner, bacon bird burger. I am unsure of what the bird is either, because turkey is supposed to be a lighter color than that. I don't know if he ground up chicken and into a chicken patty, you know, like, I don't know, white meat that would not look that color. It looks like it shrunk, it's overcooked. I don't know. The judges said it was incredibly dry and basically inedible. But I would fuck with the pre-made chips and what looks like canned nacho cheese on the side, so I think we're gonna go with a B tier. Where in the B tier? I have no idea. Where did I put this in the B tier? Yeah, that seems right. This entire tier list is being made off of nothing but vibes, so I don't know. On to a dip, decize, man, something. It's something. Let me tell you, it's a marinara mashup, but it also involves peanut M&Ms in the sauce and burnt garlic bread. The judges said it was really bad. You cannot see. Maybe that right there might be a little bit of a peanut M&M. I don't know. I don't need M&Ms in my spaghetti, and if you want to give me some, you have to pay me. Next up, we got Michael, also known as Big Mike Paul, who made fettuccine alfredo, and one of my favorite bits that they do on this show is that the judges, when presented with their dish, will turn the dish horizontally, vertically, fucking upside down like a goddamn Dairy Queen blizzard, and it will stick to the plate. It will not move, and this was one of those times. But they didn't talk about the flavor at all, so I assume it's at least slightly good. I don't know, I'll just leave the stuff stuck on the plate. I think that's like a maybe high B. Maybe. Up next, we got Michael Halen's omelet, or as it's titled in the show, celery omelet medley. Because we all know, you know, your favorite diner omelet filling is celery. Fucking breakfast restaurants all over the country are really looking for that celery. What the fuck, Michael? Also, apparently it was combined with a turkey, ham, roast beef, apple, and pepper sandwich or something. I don't know, those ingredients are included in here somewhere. There's also bacon on the side. It doesn't seem bad, but if I'm handed an omelet with celery, I'm assuming whoever gave it to me is on like a diet right now, and I can eat food other places, so I'll eat it for them to support them in their diet, but celery in an omelet. After that, we got Diana DeRosa's oatmeal quinoa fruit surprise, and nothing was really said about it, and it's weird because she was also the first person sent home, but this looks good. This looks like something that fucking Starbucks is gonna start selling for this upcoming summer season as a breakfast menu item. It looks like something that, same with McDonald's. Like they're trying to do like a health kick thing, like when they used to do like the yogurt parfaits, but this time it's a quinoa fruit surprise. Like genuinely, I would enjoy this, I think. It's fruit, it's quinoa, it's oatmeal, it's breakfast. Yeah, I would fucking love to eat this now. And lastly, for season 4, we got Tim Burger, who I am very sad did not make a burger and instead made taco rice and cheese salad combo thing. It was made with like a taco seasoning packet, ketchup, cheese. It does not look good. If I'm being completely honest, when I was growing up, we had a dog named Frodo. He was a beagle, but he also had a bunch of like dietary issues. So my mom used to make him like a boiled hamburger meat and rice combo. And if you sprinkled cheese and ketchup on it, that was it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have eaten the boiled fucking ground beef rice mixture because it is still edible. But I'm not gonna enjoy it. So I think maybe like high C tier above whatever the fuck this is. I already forgot. My brain is mush. My brain looks like fucking Bob's college chili. But here we have the final rankings for season 4. So now we have the updated list with season 4, 5, no, season 1, 2, 3, 4. We're moving on to season 5. Just watch me become more and more unhinged the longer this video goes on. It'll be great, I promise. Moving on to our first picture, which is Mike Glazer, which is another one that I had to like sneak a picture of during plating. It's not even on a plate, it's on a cutting board, but it's a chicken salad sandwich and nothing was said about it. So I assume it's not bad. I mean, like 40% of it is bread, and he didn't even make the bread, so I don't think it can be that bad, but I still don't know, so I'm sketchily gonna put it in A tier. After that, we got a doozy of Joe Slaughter's Breakfast Meatball Surprise, which is his breakfast version of spaghetti and meatballs. It, I believe, is turkey meatballs with a sauce of sweet glue is what the judges described it as. Granny Smith apples, some sort of, I don't know if it's raspberry, cranberry, strawberry, cherry, some berry sauce. I'm concerned. I would still eat one of the apples in like the fruit sauce though, not touching a meatball. You can't fucking make me, but everything else just seems like a really fruity, sugary fruit salad. After that, we got Casey Pentoni's picadillo and rice, which I lied. Before I was talking about how my dog's old food used to look, or my old dog's food used to look. This is it. This isn't even like a joke anymore. That's exactly what it looked like. And again, it's not bad food. It's just, it tastes like nothing because there's no flavor, and that's exactly what the judges said about that dish. So I would prefer nothing over sweet meat. I think that's a good fair judgment. Up next, we got Danielle Ruiz Wiley's Catty Quesadilla. Isn't that so fun? It looks like a cat. Isn't that great? The judges looked at her and said, "What are you, 6?" Which was so fucking rude. There's no need for that. It's so cute. It looks like a cat. If fine dining means that I can't have food shaped like cats, then I don't fucking want it, because this is probably an A tier. I mean, the tortilla on the outside looks a little burnt. I am unsure of what the fish is made of or the eyes. I would still probably eat it though, just for the cuteness factor. I would eat it more because it's shaped like a cat. Speaking of my fucking cat tail, just Mason's here. After that, we got Carrie Polano Kellner, who made steak. And just looking at the picture, I already know it's overdone. And she said in the show she didn't want the steak to get cold, so she just kept it in the hot ass pan, cooking it until it was ready to serve. And I just realized that my notes say Booby instead of Bobby. Anyway, Bobby Flay said the steak died twice already. I can only chew meat for so long before my jaw gets tired. I, again, really don't like eating meat that has the consistency of fucking bubble gum. So yeah, no, I think that's a D tier. Yeah, no, we do not like overcooked meat. And again, this is still in the pan. This isn't even on the plate. I didn't get a shot of it on the plate. I assume it can only be so much worse. Oh my god. Up next, we got Lance Green, who made CEO Surf and Turf. Specifically, I need you to know that he wanted me to put a $ as the S. That is how it was presented in the show. And let me tell you, so much money went into this steak that is now fucking inedible. What is that? Why does it look like that? Meat shouldn't look like that. Oh my god, I mean, the salmon doesn't look too bad. I mean, maybe it's a little bit overdone, and I know the sauce contains pepper and habanero peppers, which I'm already not excited about the spice. And I need some sort of liquid to fucking dunk that fucking charred piece of meat into. This is somehow worse than the other steak. People should stop making steaks on this show. Next up, we got Benjamin Benji Hunter Brown III, quite a name for quite the dish, which is really just a grilled ham and cheese, what looks like Pringles, and some sort of, I don't know, noodle in the middle with a pickle spear with it. I don't even like pickles. I would still fuck with this entire dish. Like, yeah, the bread's a little crispy, but it's a fucking ham and cheese sandwich. Like, even when I make a grilled ham and cheese sandwich, sometimes the burner's on a little hot, or sometimes I didn't put enough butter at the bottom of the pan, and one side gets a little crispier than the other. I'll still fucking eat it and enjoy it. I think this is an S tier. Minus the pickle. I think I would eat half of the pickle before remembering, God, pickles are garbage. Then I would not eat the pickle, but I minus that, because that's my own personal preference. I don't know why I'm saying that. This is all personal preference. I'm the one ranking the list. After that, we got Amber Bronner, who made Amber Rice, which I guess is just her take on rice, which is overcooked meat, some yellow pepper, and then rice that has been topped with uncooked ramen noodles. Boy, howdy. The judges said that there was just too much rice. That is quite a bit of rice, that everything basically had no flavor, because I don't know what brown liquid she put on top. I'm gonna assume soy sauce. I don't know. They said it was bland, no flavor. She still won the season though, and I would still eat all of the rice on the plate. None of the other stuff, but I would definitely eat the rice. Next up, we have a dish that is iconic for two different reasons. Firstly, this is made by Stephanie St. Aubin, and it's curlapia stew. I am unsure of how to pronounce the name of the stew because it's not a real stew. The only mention, I looked it up, the only mention of it is from a fucking news article about this lady. So that's iconic in itself. The second reason it's iconic is that she paired it with a chocolate sauce that she made by combining vanilla extract and brown sugar. There is no chocolate involved in the slightest in her chocolate stew. No, it's not a stew, it's a sauce. She made a stew and a sauce separate as a dessert and then plated it with fucking flat. I don't know. Oh my God, let me tell you, it's a C tier. Where is it in the C tier? I think it's a low C tier because I don't know what's in the stew because it's not a real fucking thing. Second to last dish of season 5, we got Jamie Thomas's Ghetto Sweetest Hangover Chili. It's called the sweetest because it contains a shit ton of peanut butter. You know, peanut butter, that common ingredient we all put into chili. No, if I eat chili and my first taste is peanuts and not some sort of chili, I'm gonna be real concerned. Also, the texture, oh my God. Already when you add beans, it's kind of like a peanut butter-y texture. Like if you mash it up, I don't know if I'm just being crazy right now or if me being fucking ranking all of these has just fucking made me crazy. But I'm not crazy for putting this in the fucking F tier. I do not want peanut butter in my chili. I don't care if it's sweet. I don't want sweet chili. And the last dish of season 5, Mahirna Warner's Spaghetti Black Bean Casserole, which, when showing you the picture, you already know it's going in the fucking F tier. And I'm a little more confident that I would be able to eat at least a piece of bread, but anything that's on this side of the plate. Just a whole ass tomato, a stick of celery, fucking, those look like habanero peppers. Like the red ones, and like cherry tomatoes, a whole fucking jalapeno pepper. What is happening here? I don't know, but neither of the judges tried it, and they related the look of it to a cow patty, if you know what that is. It's not a patty that's made of cow, it's a patty that a cow makes. She was the first to be sent home, so I feel very confident in putting her in the F tier. I am okay with that. So, final rankings for season 5, and also season 5 included in the master ranking. Take a look at all of the decisions I've made in the last... Oh my God, I've been doing this for 3 hours. Are you guys having fun? Cause I am, because Courtney Montgomery, the first person of season 6, made a baked potato in a plastic bag in the microwave. If you too wanted to add more microplastics to your diet, you too can prepare a baked potato in this method. I don't know why she put it in a plastic bag. You guys know you can make a baked potato in the microwave without using a plastic bag. You just stab a potato a bunch with a fork and then microwave it. I'm not sure how long. Google that shit. That's how I cook. That's how these people could cook. Just Google, should I put a plastic bag in the microwave? No. Would I still eat the baked potato? Because I don't know, microplastics haven't hurt me yet. There's still time. I weirdly am gonna put it in the S tier because yeah, she cooked a potato in the microwave in a plastic bag, but if you take away the plastic bag part, I would eat the potato regularly. I don't know, it looks like she just put cheese on it and then those like shitty fucking vegan bacon bit bites that no one knows are vegan, but they're bacon flavored, but they're vegan for some reason because it doesn't contain meat. I don't know, it's just getting worse and worse the further I go on. The fucking gaslighting and fucking mental gymnastics I'm willing to do for these dishes. Like, for example, this one, Christina Oster's matzo ball gummy bear gazpacho, which is matzo ball soup, but there are gummy bears involved. I honestly think you could pay me to eat one of those gummy bears. Like, I don't know, it's a gummy bear in like a broth. I mean, it's disgusting and I hate it, but I would probably do it for like 30 bucks. God, my standards are on the fucking floor. Potatoes in bags, gummy bears in soup. Fucking sure, yeah, I'll eat it. Next up, Mike Kennedy. He made wine burgers. I think it's hamburger meat. I am genuinely unsure of what the meat in the burger is, but I know that it was entirely cooked in wine. And it sounds good, but it also sounds like something that I would order at a fancy restaurant and then I would get it and I would take my first bite of the burger and I'm like, I expected wine to be a main flavor of the burger, but I was not expecting a wine burger. So I feel like I would eat half of it and thank the chef and say it was beautiful, but what the fuck? Why would you cook a hamburger in wine? Next we got Jason Dixon, who made, it's kind of like a breakfast spread type thing, but it's called crisscross applesauce, which is a combination of blending applesauce and mashed potatoes together. Both were kind of raw. Like, imagine trying to blend an apple just in a blender and then also potatoes along with that. Also, that's not the color applesauce should be. I think it should be a little lighter than that. I do like the little, I don't know, egg substitute. I think it's yogurt and like a ball of maybe fucking unripe mango. I don't know what else that fruit could be. I also don't know what the powder on the plate is, and the sausage patty looks horrifying. I would still eat one of the eggs, half of the sausage patty, and maybe a couple spoonfuls of the applesauce to appease my friends. After that, we got Leopold, aka Leo Nunnan's turkey galore and infamous potato salad. One of the judges spit it out. Apparently the potatoes are raw and so are the onions. And also, if I look at this picture for too long, it looks like the tomatoes are staring me down. Also, I'm not sure I could point out a single potato for you in this picture, and that's concerning. Maybe that's a potato. These might be potatoes, but I am unsure, and that makes me nervous. I would still eat a tomato though, if I'm being honest. After that, we got Sarah Bettendorf's pasta with clam sauce. And apparently there was so much white wine in the sauce. Like, it was basically a wine, she basically poured a bottle of white wine over noodles and then there's clam somewhere in there. Clam in general freaks me out a little bit, and I don't know. I guess, where did I put the wine burgers in comparison to this? How badly do I want to taste alcohol while trying to enjoy a savory meal? I'd probably enjoy the burgers more than the pasta, because at least I get potato chips along with the burger. Chips, they are so thickly sliced though. So this is Kristen Redmont's pita shepherd pie, and it doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The potatoes look so fucking good. Like, I would demolish those potatoes right now. However, the judges were literally unable to chew the meat in the pita bread. So I think I would fuck with the potatoes. I would eat like the top, maybe part of the bottom of the pita shell, and then not touch any of the meat inside. And when my friend asked, hey, I made that for you, are you not gonna eat it? I would say, oh my God, I actually ate before I came over here, but the potatoes were so good. And then I would stop at literally any fast food place on the way home. Would definitely rather eat it than wine noodles or whatever raw apple mashed potato mixture we got going on over there. I think I was giving you some easy questions with the other seasons. So now we're getting into the harder questions of what protein is that? I'll give you a couple seconds to guess. If you guessed chicken, you were fucking wrong. These are pork chops, motherfucker. I don't know what pork chop looks like that or why it's that texture, but she didn't get to serving it. This is the only picture I could get. But I'm still slightly horrified because that straight up looks like a chicken breast. Like, the shape of it, it looks like it's coated in some sort of breading, so I would expect some sort of like breaded chicken breast, and I bite into it, it's a fucking pork chop. No, I'm good. I'm good. Where am I putting it? fucking, C tier. Yeah, yeah. Hey, random question. Are you guys also sick of cakes always being sweet? Wouldn't you like a savory cake at one point? Well, boy howdy, Michael Six Molden's got you with his spaghetti and meatball cake. Oh my goodness, it's very burnt on top. And I assume the noodles aren't a good texture if they can stand up on their own like that. Yeah, no, I would rather do it than would rather eat it than the fucking pork chops? These are pork chops, they're not chicken. I don't know, it's covered in cheese, and like I've said this entire fucking video, I fucking love cheese. I think this next, picture, fucking dish, whatever it is, the monstrosity that it is, has become infamous in the Worst Cooks of America realm. Like, it is probably one of the more well-known worst dishes. Boy howdy, does it live up to its name. David Eric Rosenberg's meatloaf teddy bear. It is a teddy bear. It is meatloaf. It is meatloaf shaped like a teddy bear. Judges said it was the worst meatloaf they've ever had in their entire life, and I do not doubt them. That is not the texture that a teddy bear should be. That's not the texture meatloaf should be. Anyway, if you pay me the low price of $25, I will eat part of the teddy bear. And the last dish of season, God, what are we on? Season 6. We have so many more seasons to go. Also, Mason's here. Hey, buddy. Can I help you? Would you like to eat any of the dishes that were made today? Or shown today? They weren't made today, they were made years ago. I think the first season came out in like 2010. We got like a decade to go. But the last dish of season 6 is Sharif Dean's spicy Algerian basil chicken, which honestly looks pretty good. Like, it looks like strips of chicken that have like some seasoning on it, on like some sort of Italian bread, with like a marinara or like tomato-based sauce. Maybe there's like more spice in there, paired with like a caprese salad type thing. Tomato, what looks like some sort of like probably mozzarella cheese, basil leaves, balsamic vinegar on top of that. I would fuck with this. I would fuck with this harder than the shitty wine burgers, but also it's spicy, so I'm not the biggest fan of spice, but I think that's a solid ranking for season 6. But there we are. I feel like I'm blocking some of them, but there we are. Look at that. All of the things that I've ranked, and now we're moving on to season 7. Which I have to preface. So like I said during the introduction of this video, I ranked the first episode, the first challenge of every single season except for 3, and we would talk about it when we get to them. As this is one of them. Season 7 was the first time they did Celebrity Edition of Worst Cooks in America, where they take celebrities that don't know how to cook because they've been in the acting industry for long enough that they didn't really need to learn how to cook. They had catering, they had, I don't know, private chefs, they had room service, yada yada yada. They teach them how to cook. But the season was taken down specifically because of one man, Chris Soules, who was on The Bachelorette, and then he was a fan favorite on The Bachelorette, so he went on to The Bachelor, and he was a bachelor, and then eventually went on to be on Worst Cooks in America. But 2 years after season 7 aired, it was taken offline because, and I quote from Chris Soules' fucking Wikipedia page. In April 2017, Soules was arrested and charged with leaving the scene of a fatal accident in Aurora, Iowa, and he was charged with this Class D felony for leaving the scene of an accident causing a death. He was not charged with driving under the influence, although court documents obtained by People magazine revealed he was allegedly in possession of alcoholic beverages and the containers of the time of the crash, which occurred around 8 p.m. on Monday, April 24th, 2017. His attorneys were hoping to avoid trial since Soules is a public figure, and it's an unnecessary trial and could be damaging. If Mr. Soules is forced to proceed to the trial, then an appeal that this is a lot of legal stuff. I came here to rank fucking dishes, and that's what I'm gonna do because I found one clip on the Worst Cooks of America YouTube channel, or maybe it's just like a Food Network channel that did like a compilation of some of the worst cooks in America that had been on the show thus far. And Chris was in one of those. They wiped the whole season for this man. I still found a clip of his first dish, so the singular ranking of season 7 is gonna be that fucking man. So it feels really stupid to do a ranking for season 7 when this bitch is the only thing that I have to rank. So anyway, Chris Soules made tilapia and eggs, which is just fish and broccoli and hard-boiled eggs, and I don't know if that's ketchup or sriracha over the eggs. I don't know. But one thing that you do need to know about the celebrity editions of Worst Cooks in America is that they're not just making food for the chefs to taste, they're making food for everyone to taste. So all of the other contestants also have to eat everyone else's dishes that they made. So when the contestants that were competing with Chris ate this, they said, "At least you're pretty." And that's also one of the reasons I think he only got 2 years probation for a homicidal hit and run. So with that being said, for that reason alone, I want to put him in a fucking lower tier than F, but food-wise, I guess it's a B tier. It's not that bad. But anyway, fuck Chris Soules, but that's not the only murderer on this list. Anywho, on to season 8. I have changed my shirt because it is a new day, because I can only handle so many hours in the day of going, "Hey, would you rather eat this brown mush or this brown mush?" Speaking of brown mush, we got Ty Snow, who made garlic mashed potatoes with raw potatoes somehow. I truly need to know how these people are making mashed potatoes, how you mash a raw potato. Either way, the bacon on top looks real crispy. I don't know what this liquid at the bottom here is, but it's not off-putting enough that I would not eat half of it. After that, we got David Fotis, who made, I believe it's pronounced jibarito, which is a Puerto Rican dish. It's basically if you take a sandwich but replace the slices of bread with fried plantains, which sounds really good. However, the judges say that his did not taste good. I also love this little tiny side of rice. It's so cute. Like, what was the purpose of putting that there? Why not a bigger scoop? I don't know. But honestly, I weirdly fuck with this more than the raw mashed potatoes, because again, I still don't know how you make mashed potatoes from raw potatoes. And I think that's impressive, but I think making a sandwich out of plantains is a little more impressive. Just looking at this next picture, I'm already vibing with it a little bit just because of the thick-ass layer of cheese on top. But this is Sydney Nguyen's shepherd's pie, and apparently the piece that she served just stayed in a solid square. Like, it was a solid object, and Anne spit it out. She also said, and I quote, "You had all of your bases covered, but wrong application." So there's something there. I don't know what it is, but I don't know what's underneath the cheese. I know what goes in shepherd's pie. I don't know if Cindy knows what goes in shepherd's pie, but I put it in a B tier, so I think I would eat the layer of cheese on top. Everything else would be 50-50. Next, we got Jenny Erdman, who made a Bloody Mary chicken, which is just chicken that was cooked in a Bloody Mary drink, which isn't the worst concept. I think it would be good if you knew how to execute it well. She does not look like she knows how to execute it well, strictly because I can already tell just from the picture that the rice is undercooked. Like, it does not look like the rice is done, and there's so many. I don't like pickles. I don't like green olives. There are so many garnishes. I would still probably eat a piece of chicken and chew the crunchy rice for a friend. I don't know. I just got back into this. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. I'm already confused, as are we all. Oh boy, another one. More chicken and green olives. This one comes from Ginny Meerman, who made chicken with Spanish rice. And when asked by the judges what makes the rice Spanish, she said, and I quote, I can't. It contains avocados. Because avocados come from Mexico. It's not Mexican rice. It's Spanish rice. This girl. I love her. I also know that she added a French onion dip into the meal somewhere. I think I'm gonna have to put her a little lower than the other chicken and olive dish, because at least I know what's in a Bloody Mary. I don't know what's in non-Spanish rice. Next up, we got Nick Slater, who made a jailhouse burrito, which I've seen these before. If you've ever seen the videos online of people getting out of prison and they show the food that they made while they were incarcerated, this is usually a big one. You take a pack of like pre-made kind of ramen noodles, crush it up a bunch, and then you pour boiling water into the bag and then fold and roll up the bag so it's the size and shape of a burrito, and you put pressure on it so it compacts it into a burrito. It's also apparently paired with dinosaur chicken nuggets and a little bit of white rice. And the judges kind of hated it, but he ended up winning the season, and I'm very proud of that, because this takes creativity if you didn't see it anywhere else, or if he was in prison. They didn't specifically say, but I love it. I would fuck with this. It's ramen. He added the fucking seasoning packet to it. I eat dino nuggets on the daily anyway. Yeah, no, easy S tier. Next up, we got Glenda Glano's Fish of the Sea, which I find to be a very funny name, Because I understand that fish can come from, like, you know, other bodies of water, lakes, rivers, yada yada yada, but yeah, Glenda, fish usually come from the sea. That would also be like me handing you a plate of red meat and being like, it's meat of the land. Like, that does not give me any contextual clues on what is in front of me, but thanks, I guess. Either way, the judges said that she had good instinctual cooking, and again, the way that the show goes is that after they make their first dish, the judges get to pick who they want to be on their team for the rest of the season and compete to win the whole thing, and both of the judges wanted her. And honestly, it looks really good. The fish looks good. I'm not really sure what the sauce on top is. Asparagus looks good. I understand that there's capers on top. It genuinely looks like something that would be served in a really nice restaurant. So I think that's going high top S tier. The highest S tier. For this season, at least. After that, we got Donna Cohen with her Italian gabagoo, or gabagat, one of the two. It's a Sicilian word / phrase for a combination of things. And she didn't actually get any, like, screen time when the judges tasted it. That was not shown, but one of the contestants tasted it while they were plating it, and the contestant screamed, "Oh my god," and compared it to plastic. To which Donna replied with, "The crunchy bits are the best part." Which is something I should not be told when I'm eating spaghetti noodles, so I think that's a C. I think that's a low C. At least the chicken isn't crunchy. That's something. I think the rice is, but I got nothing. This is the ranking. If you want to fight me on it, fight me on it. I will fight the sun, though. Why is it still in my face? After that, Rachel Thomas here made a breakfast platter, which doesn't look too bad. However, what is not pictured is when the judges flipped over the pancakes and 2 of the 3 of them were so burnt on the other side. Like, so burnt. And then they cut into the pancakes and they realized that there were pockets of flour that weren't mixed into the batter, making the pancakes somehow raw and burnt at the same time. Which is always very impressive to me. I don't know how you did that. That's impressive all on its own. But also, you need to stop that. Either way, the bacon looks a little crispy. I see like some egg cheese thing on the other side. I would still probably load up a pancake with syrup and eat half of it for the benefit of a friend. So I think that's going, I would definitely rather eat it over the brick of shepherd's pie and the Bloody Mary chicken. So I think that's a good place to put it. After that, we got Taylor Hooper's chicken salad, which, again, I'm gonna compare it to ordering food from a restaurant and then realizing after ordering that it's a health-conscious restaurant, and then I get a salad that is 3 chicken tenders that were poorly breaded on a bed of spinach. But there's a little bit of shredded cheese. So I think that bumps it up to at least an A. A low A. Here we have Ernie Adkins seafood pasta that includes lobster, mussels, shrimp, and Alfredo sauce from a jar, which actually I feel like bumps it up a level. Like, you can't fuck up Alfredo sauce if it's from a jar. It's from a jar. You're supposed to just use the sauce. However, seafood can be a little sketchy at times. I don't know how well he cooked everything, but it looks pretty good. So I think I'm gonna have to put that in the S tier. However, I would much rather fuck up shitty ramen and pre-made dino nuggets than, I don't know, there's still some sketchiness with seafood, but it's still in the S tier. And lastly, for season 8, we got Holgi Forrester, who made a grilled cheese that I'm going to say in quotations because the sandwich was basically raw. Like, it was just kind of warmed. Still, I would eat 2 pieces of bread and a slice of cheese, and then he cut up all this fruit. Look at that, and the tomatoes, which is technically a fruit. So it's just a plate of sliced fruit and a sad sandwich. I would still fuck that up. I would fuck up every part of this dish. But not as much as the pasta, the pre-made nuggies, or what looks to be like an actual good meal that you would receive from a restaurant. So, final rankings for season 8. They did pretty well. No D's, no F's. Let's add it to the major list. Here we are with the updated list of all of the 8 seasons so far, plus 1 singular entry from season 7. Don't ask me to explain my thought process and my choices. I don't know either. But moving on to season 9, which is actually another celebrity edition of Worst Cooks in America, and one thing that I've noticed with the celebrity editions is that the food is always better than the other contestants from other seasons, because the celebrities actually know what good food is supposed to look like and taste like. But with that being said, we'll start off with Barbara Eden, who was Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie, who made a chicken curry casserole, which was chicken, canned mushroom soup, curry, sour cream, rice, and was also described as mushy and like cat vomit, which is a great mental image and a great regular image. What is in there? I genuinely don't know. It looks like they're cashews, and I am unsure why. I think those might be peanuts on the other side. Don't know why they're orange though. She gave a list of things in her dish, and I cannot pick out a single one of them, so I think I'm just gonna go C tier. After that, we got Nicole Sullivan, who is probably best known for Mad TV, as she said while introducing herself on the show. But she made a triple poultry chili, which is chicken, turkey sausage, and turkey bacon. And it doesn't, well, don't get me wrong, it looks bad. It doesn't sound bad, but it does not look good. However, weirdly more confident about it than whatever was just shown from Barbara, so another C tier. After that, we got Tommy Davidson, who's from Living in Color, and made a peanut butter dream cake, which I believe was just a boxed cake mix, and then he added peanut butter to the outside, and then made a peanut butter brown sugar sand that he covered the cake in, which made it severely sweet. Imagine you take a boxed cake mix, and then you cover it in peanut butter, and then more sugar. Don't get me wrong, I fuck heavily with sweet shit. Do I think I would be able to eat this entire piece of cake though? No. I would eat a lot of it though before remembering that it's not good to consume this much sugar. Next up, we got Lonnie Love, who's a comedian and also the co-host of The Real, and she made a date night dish, is what she called it, which includes bacon, mushrooms, and she said she didn't have enough time to make a sauce, so she used a can or a jarred sauce, which again, I feel like makes it better. I know you didn't fuck up the sauce, because I know you don't know how to cook, and you used a jarred sauce. I love jarred sauce. I also love bacon and mushrooms and spaghetti noodles. They look properly cooked. I think I would enjoy this. Yeah, sure. Fuck it, we'll put it in S. After that, we got Matt Dallas, who was Kyle in Kyle XY. I don't know, I've never seen the show, but he made a chicken with Italian seasoning and added so much Italian seasoning. Also, the chicken is very overcooked. You can see just from the picture, it's dry as shit. However, it looks like it was paired with like a bacon Brussels sprout thing and yeah, a side salad. It's not too bad. I can handle a lot of seasoning, but I don't know. I don't know. We're putting it in the B tier because I think I would eat the salad. I would probably eat the Brussels sprouts. I probably wouldn't touch the chicken because again, like I've said, I don't like chewing chicken like goddamn bubblegum. Next up, we got The Situation, aka Mike from Jersey Shore, who made chicken cutlets and salad. That is the smallest salad I have probably ever seen. The judges said that it wasn't very well seasoned and the breading could have been crispier, but the chicken was well cooked. So as much as I would love to put this man lower on the tier list, I feel like I would eat all of it and enjoy it just because it's such a small portion. So low S tier. I'm not happy about that. Next up is Kenya Moore, who won Miss USA and is also on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She made blackened catfish with potatoes and salad, which contained a lot of cayenne. Like a lot, and also a lot of spices in general, so very, very spicy. She was also the first one to be sent home. Weirdly enough though, I think I would eat this more than the poultry chili. It just doesn't look good, but I still don't really want to eat this because I don't handle spice well, and I know I'm just gonna start coughing, and I don't know what that sauce is, and I don't know why people keep putting like 3 leaves of fucking spinach on their dish and calling it a salad. That's not a salad. In what world is that a salad? After that, Mindy Cohen, who was from Facts of Life and made sole with linguine and steamed asparagus, and when the other contestants tasted it, said it was bland. I prefer blandness over dying of spice, and I think I would eat quite a bit of this until I remember that food is supposed to have flavor, and then I would find something else to eat, but I would also prefer overly sweet than no flavor. I don't know, guys, like, I don't know. And lastly, of season 9, we have John Henson, who is, I believe, the original host of Wipeout. I don't know who hosts it now. I believe Nicole Byer and fucking John Cena. Anyway, this man made chicken enchiladas, but mostly out of canned products. Like the sauce was from a can, the chilies were from a can. I don't know what else was from a can, but because everything was from a can, it had a very, very, very high sodium content, so it tasted very salty. I also don't know what that texture is. I don't really want to know. But I also know you can't fuck up a whole lot if everything's from a can, other than it being extremely salty, so we'll put it in the B tier. We'll put it above whatever that is. Sure, that's season 9. Again, where are the D's and F's? This is the worst cooks of America. I'm supposed to be vomiting in my mouth while looking at these dishes. Don't worry, there's still time. It's been updated, woo! And we're going on to double-digit seasons, woo! Season 10, baby! Oh, we're starting this season out with a doozy with a 3, 2, 1 jump scare. What the fuck is that? Oh, no, what is that? This is Lester Turchin's Tuna Surprise. Boy howdy, is it a surprise because it contains tuna, mayo, Parmesan cheese, and raspberry jam. The sight in itself is bad enough to send me into a fucking cringe, knowing that it's a combination of tuna, mayonnaise, and raspberry jam. Fucking go in the F tier. Be banished. Banished to the F tier. Okay, quickly moving on to get that nightmare image out of my brain. We got Daniel Marr, who made a frugal frittata. And if you know anything about cooking or anything about spices, you see that this man put saffron on his frugal frittata. So there is nothing frugal about this because this man literally added $40 worth of saffron to his fucking eggs, which were burnt, by the way. I don't know what that sauce, that white stuff on top is. I don't know. The rest of it is egg. That's just so much saffron, though. I don't know how to describe the taste of saffron, but having a spoonful of it, $40 worth of it in my mouth is not gonna be a good time. He also won the season, though, so I guess that's fine. Up next, we got Mandy Thornton's Philly cheesesteak cups. I should say cups in quotations because I don't know where the cup part comes in. I think she tried baking them in cupcake tins and then it didn't work, so she just threw everything onto a plate, covered it in ketchup, and then served it with a separate dipping bowl of ketchup. God, that's so much ketchup. She literally said, and I quote, "Everything tastes better with ketchup." And I'm not saying she's wrong, but I'm not saying she's right either, so we're gonna put her as a B. Again, don't know what everyone's obsession with ketchup is, but next up we got Lauren Doctor's meatloaf and mashed potatoes. That was also covered in ketchup. The meatloaf doesn't look too bad. The mashed potatoes, again, somehow look raw. I don't know how people keep doing this, but weirdly enough, I'm gonna have to put it higher B because there's less ketchup on this one. Oh, what? What are you? Kayla Kurtz here made cereal chicken casserole, which apparently is just noodles and some green things combined with a can of cream of chicken and then sprinkled Cheerios on top. As horrifying as this image is, I think I'm gonna have to put it in like low C tier for the sole purpose of there are these like loose Cheerios on the side. So if someone came up to me during a potluck and was like, "Oh my God, did you try my cereal chicken casserole?" I could be like, "Yeah, totally." I ate the handful of Cheerios on the side that didn't touch any of the components of the dish you made. After that, we got Adam Cook, who does not know how to cook because this motherfucker put cinnamon in ground beef tacos. Like a lot of cinnamon. And also a lot of crushed red pepper. If I bite into a taco and I taste cinnamon, I am going to riot. I would still eat it though, if I'm being completely honest. I think it's a good medium ground between a spoonful of saffron and eating loose Cheerios from a side of a dish. Next up, we got Cedric Miller, who was not shown in the judging portion of the competition, but he made fried chicken. It was made with like almonds and some kind of alcohol I saw he was pouring into it. I don't know, they didn't say anything about it. But honestly, it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, there's some pieces that look a little crispy, a little burnt. Weirdly enough, I'm gonna put it, I think this is the only S dish of this season, so it's gonna be a lower S dish when it goes to like the full list. But compared to other things in this season, I'm thinking this one's an S tier. Next up, we got Jake Michaels, who made a burger with like a side of chips. The burger included an egg, I think like some avocado on it, and the judges said that the burger was well done. Not in the way that it was cooked well, but in the way of like, my God, this is well done. Basically burnt. But I would, again, rather have a fully cooked through burger than have it raw. I feel like the other stuff on it might take away from the fact that it's basically burnt. So, I don't know, A tier. I don't know. I'm fucking giggling to myself at the name that this person made this dish. Like, the name that they called the dish is insane because this is Buffy McCannon's Chicky Minaj with a side of Elvis Pastello. And don't get me wrong, it looks pretty good. Like, I don't know. The pasta's sketching me out a little bit, but the chicken breast genuinely looks good, and just for the name itself, I think I want to put it in A tier. Like, I would probably eat the full chicken breast, like half of the pasta, and then realize the pasta isn't that good, and yeah. Hey guys, guess who I am? Let's go to the beach. Chicky Minaj. After that, we got Matt Joseph's pasta. He just called it pasta. I don't know how you burnt pasta. He managed to do it somehow. The rest of the vegetables look raw, like the onion is still white. It's not translucent like when you cook it. But the beef looks fucking like raisins. This man put beef jerky into his pasta. Weirdly enough, I would still probably eat some noodles and some broccoli. You didn't fuck up the broccoli if it's not cooked, if you just put raw broccoli in the dish. I can eat the broccoli. Yeah, I can eat the broccoli. Oh boy. I already put the last one in the place that it needs to go because I accidentally put it there and now I can't put it back, but it definitely belongs in the D tier because Jetta Linda Ostrovsky. What the fuck is this? Apparently she calls it Chef's Surprise because surprise! It contains okra and black beans and sardines and hot dogs and noodles and others. What the fuck? Neither of the judges tried this dish. They said it was the worst of the season, which I would definitely fistfight the judges in order to give Lester that title, because this is so much worse than this to me. I would still eat one of these hot dogs for like 50 bucks. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I would be 50 bucks richer. That would make me happy. But here we are putting it all together. 10 seasons. I feel confident in this only because I have put Lester down here at the fucking bottom. I am very confident in this decision. Anyway, on to season 11, which season 11 is another celebrity edition of Worst Cooks in America that have people like Sean Lowe from the 17th season of The Bachelor. I don't know. I don't watch The Bachelor. I don't watch The Bachelorette, but I know that he made a sea bass with a pineapple salsa, and for some reason it tasted like soap, which I don't know. I don't know if that, like, the little green things on it is cilantro. I don't remember who said it tasted like soap. I don't know if they have that gene that makes cilantro taste like soap, but honestly, it looks like something that would be served in a fancy restaurant. I would fuck with that. I would fuck with that heavy. Next up, we got Eric Estrada, who's known from Chips, or if you're a nerd like me and you looked at his Wikipedia page, you saw that he's also the voice of King Worm from Adventure Time. Anyway, he made Mofongo, which this is what he made. Again, how about we look at what Mofongo is actually supposed to look like? One of these things is not like the other, but it also doesn't look bad. I know there's plantains in it. He put shrimp in it too. Everyone said it was super dry, and he was also the first to be eliminated. Yeah, actually, no, I don't know anything that's in this dish other than fried plantain. I think that is the C tier. C tier. Next up, we got Perez Hilton, who is best known for legal issues and controversies. Anyway, he made salmon and kale salad, except there was no dressing on the salad, so it was quite literally just a handful of kale paired with what looks to be a top of a hamburger bun, like a multi-grain hamburger bun. The salmon doesn't look too bad, I guess. I don't know. I really want to put these controversial people in like a tier lower than F, but based off of his food, I think I would eat the salmon. I would definitely eat the bread because he didn't make the bread. There's nothing really wrong with the salad other than it's quite literally just kale leaves, so sure, fuck it, B tier. After that, we got Carson Kressley, who is known from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy and also one of the judges on RuPaul's Drag Race, but he made lamb chops, baked in an oven, and then pan-seared after that, and then put directly over a flame. This man cooked these lamb chops 3 different times in 3 separate ways to the point that they are basically no longer edible. And then he served it with a fucking, what, just the carrot? I would take a bite of the carrot. I don't think I could chew the fucking lamb chop. So low C, because of the carrot. After that, we got Nora Dunn, the SNL comedian, who made chicken orzo with peas and salad. Everyone said it had no flavor. The chicken looks extremely dry. If I'm being completely honest, it looks like one of those like frozen patties that you get with like the pre-grill marks on it, and then you just like microwave it or put it in the oven. But also, those actually go pretty hard, I'm not gonna lie. So I think we're gonna put this in the A tier because I definitely would eat part of the chicken, even though it looks I don't know, it looks juicier than other dry chickens that I've seen on the show, but still, I don't know. I can't keep trying to explain my reasoning, guys. It's just all based off of vibes. Everything in this show and on this in this video is strictly based off of vibes. Up next, we got Melissa Peterman, who's an actress, comedian. She was on Reba, Baby Daddy. She's also the neighbor from Young Sheldon, because I know that show is really popular. Hell, I watched that fucking show. Anyway, she made a tater tot hot dish, and the tater tots were soggy, but honestly, this is good to me. I fucking grew up with like tater tot casserole, and like it's good. You just take a bunch of shit, like a bunch of canned ingredients and chicken or like some sort of meat product, and then you put it in a pan, you top it with frozen tater tots, and you bake it in an oven. The judges were mean about it because I don't think they understand tater tot casserole, but I fuck with it. Not very hard though, because it still doesn't look like a traditional tater tot casserole, but it's tater tots, it's chicken, it looks like celery and mushrooms and some other vegetables. Yeah, I'll still fucking eat half of it. Next up, we got Vivica A. Fox, who was on Soul Train, Independence Day, or probably most well-known from Sharknado. It's Time. Not the first Sharknado. I also don't know what number Sharknado that is. I do know that she made a jambalaya that was flavored with hot sauce. That was very, very, very spicy. It looks like it's glowing red. And the judges said that it needed more salt and less Tabasco. So I know this is gonna rip my body apart because, again, cannot handle spice. So I think I'll put it above the bubblegum pork chop. No, those are lamb chops. I would eat a shrimp before I would, no, yes. I'm literally just basing this off of a fucking carrot. If the carrot wasn't there, it would be in D tier, so it's low C tier strictly because of the carrot. Sure, fuck it, that's right. And lastly, from the, what is this, like the third edition of the Celebrity Chef edition of Worst Cooks in America, is Carmen Electra. She was in Baywatch, Scary Movie 4, and she made lasagna. And all of the pasta noodles stuck together. And it's also turkey meat, and the judges compared it to good airline lasagna. Like if you were on a plane and they were serving lasagna. Yes, I have high standards, but I would still probably fuck with airline food, I say as I have never been on a plane. But that was the only like positive, it's still slightly a positive comment. That means it's still edible. And that's the best comment, positive-wise, we got from this season, I think. So this is season 11's tier list. Okay, so here we are again at fucking the master list, and we're going over to season 12, which if there's 27 seasons, there's 3 seasons missing from the internet. We are technically halfway through this, and I am losing it. My brain is melting. Let's get into it! Season 12, we got Priscilla Nguyen with a jalapeno popper sandwich, which was made by putting toast/bread in the toaster, but the toaster was sideways, and then she put cheese on the bread to toast the cheese into the bread into the toaster. Okay, methods aside, it doesn't look like a bad sandwich. It looks like it has like some seasoned potatoes that aren't really fried, but they look kind of fried. I don't know, fuck it. A tier. You go in the A tier, and others will probably go in the A tier. I don't know. Next up, we got Lily Frey and her liver and heart soup, which was not talked about much. I don't think the judges really did like judging of it, or maybe they did and they just really didn't say anything. I'm not a very big fan of liver. I do like organ meat if it's done correctly, but to cook organ meat correctly, you need to do it on a low, slow heat for a really long time. And these people get like 60 minutes. Sometimes like 45. I don't think you can make any organ meat good in that short amount of time. So with that being said, I would still eat a heart. I don't know what animal it's from either. I would still eat organ meat for money from someone that does not know how to cook organ meat. Up next, we got Sharon, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this last name. Schwartzman is probably the best I'm gonna get, and I apologize, but she made a sweet and sour chicken sandwich, and she said it was her grandmother's recipe, and the judges said her grandma would be disappointed. Which is wild, because it doesn't look like a bad sandwich. Like, it looks like it's shredded chicken that doesn't look too dry. Half of the sandwich is like a brioche bun that I know damn well she didn't make. So, like, you can't fuck up a sandwich if half of the sandwich you did not contribute to. I think I would like this. I think I would enjoy this fully. Kayreen Curtis made a jump scare. Cause what the fuck is that? Why does it look like that? Also, the judges did one of those things where they tipped the plate upside down like a goddamn blizzard at Dairy Queen and it stuck to the plate. The corn does not look like it's cooked at all. Looks like she peeled back the fucking husk of the corn and then put it on a plate. And I don't know why that part is that color because it straight up looks like mold. Apparently it's a black bean cheese dip and she didn't give me anything to dip with. I don't want to dip. You can't make me. Next up, we got some beautiful presentation by Asef Gorin, who made, and I quote, what he called love in a can, which contains coconut milk, bamboo, some sort of canned meat, and then carrots and a rose sticking out of the top. Does he expect people to eat the rose? Am I expected to eat the rose? I would eat a petal from the rose for an amount of money. More money than the you know what, actually it would be the same. I would take a bite of the carrot for 50 bucks. I would take a piece of organ meat for 50 bucks, but we are stuck at that $50 maximum. Next up, we got Jonathan Farhat, who made a corn dog and some french fries. The french fries look a little underdone. They don't look fully cooked, and the judges said that the corn dog had no flavor or seasoning. Again, in my opinion, under seasoning is a lot better than over seasoning, but also over seasoning is sometimes better than no seasoning. I don't know. It's a corn dog. I fuck with corn dogs. Love me a corn dog. Even if it's bad, it's probably still a decent corn dog. This is Stephen Crowley's hot and spicy vegetable lasagna that the judges asked, why is it sweet? And he said, and I quote, due to the bechamel sauce. I don't think this man knows what bechamel sauce is because there is no similarities between the lasagna and a white cream sauce with a white roux. No, I don't know why it's sweet, but I still fuck with lasagna, so I don't know. I need someone to count how many times I said I don't know throughout this entire video. I would do it personally, but I'm already ruining my mental health by doing this. So I'm gonna need someone else to count to an extremely high number. Anyway, next up, we got Spencer Nick's eggs in a bag. I call it eggs in a bag, and he calls it eggs in a bag because he cooked eggs in a bag. He put raw eggs into a Ziploc bag and then put that into boiled water, which is a cooking method that is used sometimes, but he didn't use the right bag, so the bag melted, and then he just put that first melted bag into a second bag to finish the dish. Looks like it's paired with some yogurt. I would love the yogurt, but if anyone told me, hey, I made this in a plastic bag, I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. And then they tell me that the plastic bag melted. I'm good. I've talked about eating microplastics before. They're not the biggest deal to me, apparently. I would still stop eating if you told me that the plastic bag melted into the food. I'm good. After that, we got Shatima Rufin's TT Chicken Pot Pie, which is a burnt pot pie crust that has ranch and mustard in it. I don't know what kind of mustard. I don't need to know what kind of mustard. The judges said it was spicy. I don't know where the spice came in. Maybe the mustard. Don't know how much mustard she added, but I think this is gonna be the first C tier. Possibly the only C tier of this list. Well, of this season. Of this season's list. We got Kevin Patisse, who made blackened fried chicken, which I will say again, I don't think any of these people actually know what blackened means, and they just burn it, and then they're like, well, it's blackened fried chicken now. The judges said, and I quote, not terrible, but a long way to go. And I think they're just being picky with that, because honestly, this mac and cheese, it looks banging. Out of all of the mac and cheeses we've seen thus far from the show, I think this is the best one, probably because it contains actual macaroni noodles, but honestly, I think I would fuck with this. The chicken looks a little dry, but put it in between the other S tiers. Okay, for this next one, I need you to know that this food, this is my culture. I know they say white people don't have culture, but that is not true, because this dish is Midwest food. This is Midwest culture. This is Skylar Nick's foiled lunch and caramel apple salad, aka a Snicker salad. I fuck with this heavy. This is something that my parents used to make all the time. You can make it over a campfire, you can make it over a grill, you put like hamburger meat and a bunch of vegetables in tinfoil, and then you like bake it or put it over any sort of heat. and it cooks it up. It's also known as like a hobo lunch. And also Snickers salad, you take like Cool Whip and like butter and you whip that up. You add some chopped up Granny Smith apples, some peanuts, maybe a little bit of like crushed pineapple if you're feeling fancy. I fuck with this so hard. But unfortunately, I am gonna have to put it in the B tier because basically everything was raw. And I do not enjoy getting weird diseases and worms from raw hamburger meat. I would still heavily fuck with the Snickers salad. And last but not least of season 12, we have Brandon Ario's crab cakes, which Anne tried and immediately spit out, saying it reminded her of something she would find in her cat's litter box. And although I've never experienced anything like this in Mason's litter box, I think Anne's cat needs to go to the hospital. But for the low price of $50, I will eat a raisin. I will not touch anything on this side of the plate, but I would eat a raisin that doesn't have whatever this yellow stuff is on it. I hope it's some sort of fruit zest. I hope. Look at that. It just keeps growing and growing and growing, and oh my god, season 13 is the lucky good number, as we all know. Good things can only come from this, correct? I don't know, it's another celebrity edition. I don't know why they made so many of these. The first one worked out so well for them. But starting off the season, we got Nolan Gould, who's Luke from Modern Family, and he made shrimp and grits. It also includes bacon. And one of the contestants said it tastes like if leprosy had a taste, which I think is a fun little description. Also, again, we're coming to that point where shrimp should not be that color. I don't know how you managed to get shrimp that color, but that's not correct. I am concerned. But next up, we got Bronson Pinnock, which I might have butchered that last name. He's from Perfect Strangers, and he made sweetbread, which concerns me enough already, because if you didn't know what sweetbread is, it's not bread, it's the thymus gland or pancreas of veal or lamb. He also included almonds, raisins. I am concerned. It was overcooked, underseasoned. The coleslaw looks okay. Yeah, if you want to pay me money to eat the coleslaw, I'll do that, but you're not fucking touching the meat part. Next up, we got Oscar Nunez, who plays Oscar from The Office, who made chicken scallopini, which has parsley, basil. They said he overcooked the chicken and undercooked the potatoes, which, yeah, those are big fucking, you just wedged red potatoes. Either way, the chicken doesn't look too bad. I would have preferred like a whole chicken breast instead of a quarter of one. And again, I don't know what the purpose is of putting like 4 spinach leaves on your plate and calling it part of a salad, but yeah, I don't know. Sure, I fuck with it. Next up, we got Maria Bamford, who is a comedian who I personally know as the voice of Kelsey Jennings in BoJack Horseman, but she made a vegetable scramble because it was supposed to be pancakes, but they did not look pancake-like, so now it's a scramble. Love the innovation, love the creative thinking. It includes mushrooms, red onion, spinach. There's no salt, there's no real flavor. It looks like it's paired with like a Greek yogurt with some dill. Yeah, I don't know. Again, this seems like one of the things that I would order from a health-conscious restaurant, and I would eat half of before remembering that I deserve better food. I need to treat my body like a temple and just pour an ungodly amount of Coca-Cola into it. We got Ian Ziering, who, again, I don't know if I'm butchering any of these last names, or sometimes the first names. I'm trying my best, that's all that matters. Again, my brain is mush at this point. Which, speaking of mush, this is his pumpkin pancakes. Also, Ian is best known for being in Beverly Hills, 90210, and also Sharknado. I don't know, the pancakes were chewy and dense, overmixed. Others said it wasn't bad, so if the celebrity chefs are saying, hey, it's chewy and dense and overmixed, but the rest of the contestants say, yeah, it's pretty good, I think I would fuck with it hard. More than the undercooked, overcooked chicken that still looks pretty nice. We got Catherine Bach, who is known for Dukes of Hazzards, and she made a pasta primavera that has a little smile. Isn't that so fun? It's there to distract you from the fact that the spaghetti noodles look like that. Why do they look like that? I am unsure, but she used yuca or sweet potato, broccoli, squash, string beans, zucchini, olives, a lot of veggies, and then just proceeded to pour melted butter straight on top of the plate. So yeah, I think this would be something where I would be like, oh my god, it's so cute, and then I would put around the vegetables and then not eat anything else. But I would tell my friend that it's very cute and that I thought it was adorable, and that was the best part of the dish. And the last of the season is LaToya Jackson, who you know is part of the Jackson family, but she made gumbo with chicken, bell peppers, celery, and it was apparently very, very spicy, which is fun, as we all know that I cannot handle spice. I am also unsure of what she thinks goes in a gumbo, but I don't know. I would probably eat a shrimp if you needed me to, but do I put this before the other shrimp? Because at least these shrimps are the correct color. Yeah, sure. That's the ranking for season 13. The further and further we get into this video, the more and more I feel like this is getting out of control, and I actually don't know how many pictures I can put into this programming to create a tier list. I really hope that it doesn't just disappear one day, or all of a sudden it tells me, hey, you've reached the maximum amount of pictures you can put in here. So I don't know what I'm gonna do at that point. Anyway, season 14, let's go. Starting off with Carla Waddle, who made Crunchy Carla's Potatoes, which that's it. Oh my. Like, I feel like I should put this in S tier just because it's such a small amount that like I would gobble up this whole thing before even tasting it, before I realize that it's either A, not good, or B, it's just okay. But it looks like, I don't know, it looks more like an egg salad that you would put in a sandwich for me, but it's potatoes. I don't even know if they're crunchy. I don't think the judges really said anything about it because that's it. Next up, we got Cope & Combs Shrimp Fettuccine Alfredo, which included 3 shrimp, which if I get a dish that is called Shrimp Fettuccine Alfredo and I only get 3 shrimp, I'm gonna be pissed. But not only that, the shrimp were not cleaned, which is the process of removing the intestines from the shrimp to make sure that there is no shrimp poop in your shrimp. He did not do that, so fun. That sounds like something that one of my friends would do, where it's like, oh, I actually didn't know you had to do that. And I would be like, oh, I'm gonna continue to eat the noodles from now on. The shrimp is beautiful, but you only gave me 3 of them and I am not eating any of them. Hey, random question. Have you ever wanted meat and chocolate to be together in one in a beautiful, delightful breakfast item? Because that's what Sarah Harris wanted when she made chocolate gravy and biscuits, which involve sausage, cheddar cheese, and eggs blended together and topped with a gravy with cocoa powder in it. With a little side of strawberries, isn't that fun? I would eat a strawberry for money. I am not touching any of this though. This is what the fuck, Maybe I would like scrape off, if I had to eat part of it, I would scrape off the top and I would eat the biscuit from the bottom for $25. Next is Timmy Talks Cambodian egg rolls, which I know were made with steak and vodka. I don't know what else is in anything else. I do think it is really fun that he carved out what looks to be raw potatoes to put the sauce in for dipping. But I am unsure of what else is in the egg rolls that is anything other than vodka and steak. I don't know what makes them Cambodian. The bottom looks like it's garnished with mustard. I am confused. I am concerned. C tier. Okay, up next we got Rudy Rettenberg, who made chicken fried rice ravioli. Also, I don't know if you can see here, this is a banana peel. I cannot remember if this is the season / this is the guy that told Anne, oh yeah, in my culture, they make things on banana peels a lot, or like they wrap things in banana peels to cook it. And Chef Anne says, did you mean banana leaves? And Rudy says, yeah, no, I think actually that might be it. He still boiled the rice with a banana peel in it. And I don't know where the ravioli comes into play. I also don't know what this random brown liquid that looks like it has like a thick layer of oil on top that the United States government would be jealous of. Yeah, no, I think this is somehow worse than the chocolate gravy. Next up, we got Frank Shaderi, who made eggplant parmesan, and look, it's so creative. It's a face that the nose is made of. Is that a bay leaf that is not edible? I also said that the noodles were very rubbery. I can tell that just from the picture. I don't know why the sauce also looks dry. I do love the head of hair though, that I will not be eating because it is just straight cilantro. I mean, again, this seems like one of the things where I'd be like, oh my god, that's so cool, friend. Thank you so much for this meal. Anyway, the best part of the dish was definitely that it looked like a face and nothing else. Next up, we got Linda Martin, who made breakfast. Like, it's toast, it's eggs, the potatoes honestly look so fucking good. And then there's also bacon that also looks real crispy, but I do love a good crispy bacon. I do have to point out though that she microwaved the scrambled eggs, which is a way that you can cook eggs. I don't feel like it's the best way to cook eggs. I don't even think it's an appropriate way to cook eggs for human beings. Sometimes if I have half an egg, I will microwave it and then give it to Mason to eat. She did cook the bacon in a pan though, which I find funny. Anyway, it looks like a solid breakfast. If no one told me that the microwaves were cooked in the the eggs were cooked in the microwave, what is happening to my brain? Robbie D. DeFell made salmon with yams and string beans, and the only thing that was talked about was the fact that there was such a large portion, which in all honesty, that doesn't look too big to me. It looks like 2 salmon fillets and a whole potato. It doesn't look bad, but also at the same time, it doesn't look to be the best. I think I would still fuck with it though. Like, this season's not bad. So this one's fun, as you can see from me hugging my knees to my chest in nervousness. This one's from Janice Henry. She made spinach carbonara Alfredo. It was made with ramen noodles, and when the judges tasted it, don't get me wrong, this was already gonna go in like a D tier, maybe an F tier, but just based off of what the judges said alone makes me put it in the F tier. Let me just put it in its proper space, because these judges said, and I quote, "It's like someone threw up in my mouth," which that mental image alone is enough to send me over the edge, but combine that with the fact that the dish that she made looks creamy, vomit in your mouth. F tier, good, stay there, stay in the F tier. I'm hiding down here now because another person put cinnamon in their fucking fried chicken. Marcus Ellis made cinnamon Cajun fried chicken, which was burnt but somehow moist, paired with some blueberries and some raspberries, some random carrots on the side. Love me some raw fruits and vegetables. I would eat the least burnt piece of chicken. Why is there one singular non-burnt piece of chicken? I don't know. I think we're going high B tier though. Sure, at least it's cooked. And again, I'm going to continue to hide down here for this last dish of season 14, which was made by Jessica Paulson, who has said on the show, and I quote, "Sprinkles are good on everything." This bitch made shrimp skewers. Sprinkles are not good on everything. I am a lover of sprinkles. As someone who went into the culinary field, baking and pastry, I have a love-hate relationship with sprinkles where I love them and I hate this. Oh God, it's not bad. I know sprinkles don't really have much of a flavor. It's just kind of sugar, but I'm good. I'm still somehow better than the raw potato cups holding random liquids that I'm supposed to dunk Cambodian, I don't know why they're Cambodian, egg rolls into. No one's in the A tier. S jumped down to B for season 14. Look at us, going strong. Look at me, losing my sense of self-worth when it comes to food. Oh God, do I have it in me to rank another season today? Well, as you can tell from the fact that I have changed my shirt, it is slightly brighter in this room now. I did not have it in me. The answer was no. So welcome to day 3, season 15 of my own personal hell that I've put myself into. Let's get started. And boy howdy, are we starting off on a good note with Brent Azar, who made mussel mustard chicken with a protein shake, which I think is the thing that the spoon is sticking out of. I swear to God, that looks like a container of brown butter to me. As someone who used to make like quarts and quarts of brown butter in her old bakery. Like, why does it look solid? I also need to tell you that the topping on top of the chicken is mustard, which he added artificial sweetener to. I think he also put artificial sweetener in the protein shake. I don't know. I am terrified because firstly, artificial sweetener is disgusting to me. Like any stevia, any fucking, I literally don't know any others. That's the only one I know. But the fact that he put it in mustard, I am horrified. This is not only my nightmare, it's also Jim Bro's nightmare. So Jim Bro made this from the deepest sources of hell. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sweetened mustard with artificial sweetener. Moving on to something that looks better, does not taste better though. This is Chaz Oakley's salmon patty. And this is another case where he ended up basically pepper spraying the kitchen while cooking because he added so much spice into the oil. He also added an entire cup of cumin. Oh my god, no one could taste anything other than the cumin and I've talked about over and under seasoning and what I prefer. This is bad. This is real bad. I'm gonna need to be paid to eat the cumin flavored salmon patty. Okay, finally moving on to a slightly better note. We got Allison Wolf, who made a Thanksgiving hash with pistachio ice cream. I say in quotation marks because it's not really icy, it's just creamy. She put cream and sugar and pistachios in a bag with ice and then shook it, which, if I remember correctly, she said is something that she does with her children, which I feel like I did that when I was younger. You know, you put all of the ingredients for ice cream into a bag, then you put that bag into another bag with like ice and salt because the salt makes it super cold. She didn't add salt to the ice, so it didn't become icy, so it's not ice cream. And everything else is just a small portion. It just looks like you took all of the things from Thanksgiving and then put it into a frying pan, which again, isn't bad to me if you're doing it after Thanksgiving with leftovers, but if it's just the meal itself, I'd say it's like an A tier. Like, it feels like something that I would eat after Thanksgiving and I'm like sick of turkey and I tried putting it in a hash and then I ate half of it and I'm like, it's still turkey and I can't do anymore. Next up, we got Mickey Wentz with his chicken cacciatore, which was severely overcooked and tough, and I said that I don't like bubblegum chicken, even if it has that beautiful sprig of thyme on top. I think that's thyme. I don't know. I don't even think this looks like chicken, to be honest. I think the problem is like what looks to be like red onions that are slightly translucent, giving the chicken like a pink color, which makes me nervous because chicken should not be pink when it's eaten. So yeah, no, that seems like a C tier. I would eat a piece of carrot. I would eat the raw ass chopped garlic on top. That's what that looks like, at least. Next up, we got Alton Poblet, who made spaghetti carbonara, which again, I say in quotations because I don't think any of these people understand that the name comes from the shape of the noodle. These are fucking shells, man. You can't make spaghetti anything if you don't use fucking spaghetti noodles. Anyway, he added bacon and like ground beef. I think there's chicken in there. Otherwise, I don't know what that is. The fuck is that? I don't know. But there's literally no... What do you mean? What is this? I don't know. It's gonna be a C tier, though. Low C tier. Moving on to Caitlin Rose, who made a sham-rockin' taco boat. Do not ask me where the fuck tacos come into play during this dish. All I know is that it's Irish stew in a bread bowl. It looks like there's like iceberg lettuce. I don't know if she thinks that lettuce somehow means taco. I do not know. I also know that the potatoes were burnt and raw at the same time, which again is impressive in its own way. But the judges said, and I quote, "It's not that it doesn't taste good. I just can't chew it," which means that the meat is overdone. The bread bowl looks pretty nice. It looks like an Irish soda bread type thing, so I would definitely eat some of that. I might eat some of the lettuce. I think that's it though. After that, we got Spongetta Parrish's spinach casserole with a spicy biscuit, which, yes, this thing on the side is a biscuit. I think she spiced it with Szechuan peppercorns. At least that's what these little red things look like. But also, Chef Anne picked up the biscuit, chucked it at a wall, and it stuck to the wall. And I think that's fun. I mean, the rest of the dish doesn't look too bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't really look good, but I would fuck with a biscuit that can stick to a wall. That's just fun. Here we have Cody Medler, who made a sloppy turkey meal, is what he called it, and there are scrambled eggs underneath the sloppy part. But the eggs also had shells in them, so you get a little bit of crunch with your meal, considering the Eggos do not look done enough. They still look kind of floppy. However, I would still eat an Eggo covered in what looks to be like crushed red pepper over anything else in the C tier. But I would still only touch one of the Eggos. And since it's a new day, it is a new time for us to play all of our favorite games. Guess that protein. What did Cameron Pennington make? Because even the judges, when presented with this food, were confused. They actually pulled out their phones and started taking pictures while laughing. And I know that would have crushed my ego, but if I made food like this, I feel like I needed my ego to be crushed. Anyway, it's supposed to be a ribeye paired with peppers. I am concerned. That is charcoal. If you want me to eat charcoal, I will, but you gotta pay me to do so. Up next, we got Travell Jadon, who made a 3-meat Alfredo, which I think we can play an extra special game of Guess That Protein. I said that there's 3 meats in this Alfredo. One of them is obviously shrimp because that is straight up a shrimp tail in the pasta. But what are the other 2 meats? Take your guesses now. You guessed ground turkey and chicken breasts, you're fucking insane, but so is Travell. He also microwaved his bread, like he put the bread in the microwave with a slice of cheese on top to melt the cheese. Don't microwave your bread. I mean, I'm not the police, you can do whatever you want, I'm just the baking police. Drop the yeast and no one gets hurt. Either way, it doesn't seem too bad, I guess. I mean, even though the bread is gonna be kind of stale because you put it in the microwave, I guess it's better than others. I don't know, man. After that, we got Antoinette Willis, who made chicken, green beans, and sweet potato casserole. And let me quickly tell you all of the ingredients that are in the sweet potato casserole real quick, just real quick. So first, obviously, we got sweet potatoes. Then we add cane sugar and turbinado sugar and brown sugar and honey and cinnamon and nutmeg. This bitch made a sweet potato pie, just not in a pie crust. That is not a casserole, that is a dessert. You made a side dessert. Weirdly enough, it looks like chicken wings. I don't know, the chicken wings don't look too bad, I guess. If you told me it was a dessert before eating the sweet potato pie dessert, I think I would kind of enjoy it. The green beans look green. I think I would eat some of this. After that, we got Kat Schusel, who made taco salad, which was not shown or presented to the judges in the show, so nothing was really said about it, and this is the best we got. And I mean, if there was a little less, I don't know if it's ranch dressing, if it's mayonnaise, whatever the fuck it is, if there was less of it, I think I would enjoy it. But because it basically looks like a soup, I think unfortunately we're gonna have to put this in the C category. Where in the C category? Sure. And lastly, of season 15, we got Carmel Bull, who made spare ribs, potato salad, and asparagus. Apparently was all spicy. The potato salad was spicy, somehow the asparagus was spicy. I do not know what this thing on top of the asparagus is. I don't really want to know. Either way, weirdly enough, would still prefer it over the mayonnaise salad and the soggy Eggos, not more than the silly putty biscuit. So, no S tier, final ranking for season 15. Well, there we go. We keep updating and updating. Of course, minus the S tier, because I didn't put anything in the S tier this season. But now we're on to season 16, which season 16 is yet again another edition of the celebrity version of Worst Cooks in America. So we're starting off with Tanya Harding, the Olympic figure skater, who made chicken fettuccine Alfredo. They said it was really peppery and the sauce was chunky, which Alfredo sauce should not be chunky. She won the season. This was not one of her best dishes though. Yeah, I would still eat a noodle. Maybe a piece of chicken if I'm feeling real brave. Next up, we got Tara Manning, who you'll probably know best as Pennsyltucky from Orange is the New Black, who made chicken lettuce cups that included carrots, celery, jalapenos, which made the ground chicken extremely spicy. But honestly, it doesn't look that bad. I think this is gonna be like a solid B tier. But fun fact, she voluntarily walked out the next episode, like ruining her chances at winning and competing further on the show, because they tried to force her to eat chicken feet. Which, no hate and no judgment. Like, if you don't want to eat something because you think it's gross, I don't think you should have to, especially with the added pressure of being in front of cameras and being recorded, but I do think it's a little funny. Either way, I think she would have went further if she didn't walk out, because this doesn't look half bad. After that, we got Jim J. Bullock, who's from Too Close to Comfort, who made shrimp scampi. And I have in my notes that the judges said that the pasta was dry. I can tell just from the picture, but they said that the shrimp wasn't bad though, so I think that's also another B tier. I'm better with the lettuce cups than crunchy pasta though. After that, we got Morgan Fairchild, who's probably best known from Falcon Crest, and she made chicken marsala, which, what color would you say that sauce is? It has like a weird pinkish hue. Maybe like an orange. I think beige is probably a good middle ground between those colors. I don't think that's the color that chicken marsala should be. Anyway, the chicken was very overcooked. The potatoes were very undercooked. The sauce is just freaking me out a little bit. It should not be that color. Hold on, hold on. Do you see this? Do you see how it's more of a darker color or like a lighter brown, but it's still brown, not beige or pink or orange? Yeah, the sauce is really freaking me out. Up next, we got Alec Mappa from Ugly Betty, Desperate Housewives. He made Sol, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation because I've actually never heard of this dish before, Sol Minieri? And I apologize. Anyway, the judges said, and I quote, "It's not a train wreck, but like a bike accident." It was also the runner-up of the season, but honestly, this looks really fucking good to me. Not like, I don't know, like a high-end restaurant type thing, but if you went to like a banquet dinner at like a Holiday Inn and they said that they would provide dinner, this is what they would serve. It's like a good, nice red potato, mashed potato, and fish, and what looks to be slightly undercooked asparagus. I think I would fuck heavy with this. Up next, we got Jimmy Walker from Good Times, who made breakfast. Waffles, eggs, bacon. They said that the waffles were super dry because there wasn't any syrup. And I think if there was syrup involved in it, even just over the bacon and the eggs too, it would be S tier. But because there's no syrup, I think I have to put it in A tier, which is sad. Like, I would eat half of it and be like, wow, this is really dry. It doesn't really have a whole lot of flavor. It's waffle flavored. And then I would remember I would have maple syrup, but maple syrup was not included in this, so I would add it to, I don't know, but this is my logic and reasoning. Fight me on it. Next, we got Kim Whitley from Curb Your Enthusiasm, or Young and Hungry, which is a show about chefs. So coming on this show, I feel like I would personally be embarrassed. Anyway, she made a pork shoulder sandwich. She put the meat in the food processor though, so it kind of ground it up, but not really. I don't know. They said the flavor was pretty good, and those fries look bussin'. So I think it's gonna go under the sole mignon. Fucking hell. And lastly, in season 16, we have Jonathan William Lipnick, who was, oh god, what was his name in Stuart Little? George. His name was George in Stuart Little. Anyway, he made prime rib and cream of spinach, except the spinach was real creamy, and it ended up soaking up all of the meat juice from the prime rib, creating this weird light pink milky mixture at the bottom of the plate that is very off-putting. Now, the meat looks pretty good, minus the very, very red chunk in the middle. I think I would eat parts of the side if I had to, but I actually don't think I want to. So here is season 16. There we are. Season 16 through 1 minus 7 equals 9 more to go. Starting off with Idris Allison, who made fish and asparagus, and I don't know if that's rice or mashed potatoes on the side. I do not know what kind of fish it is. I do know that she put shredded cheese on top of the fish before cooking it, and the asparagus was overcooked. I do not like the way the fish is looking, nor do I like... Again, I still don't know what side dish that is, so I think we're starting off with C, just kind of in the middle there. Oh my god. Next up, we have Kayla Longstreth, who is presenting us with another opportunity to play Guess That Protein. I will give you so much time to figure this out, because you're not gonna get it. Because it's fucking chicken. It is red wine chicken. This lady just basically boiled chicken in red wine. It was so tough that it required both chefs to cut it. That is horrifying. That looks like a steak. If you served me this and I bit into it and I realize it's fucking chicken? No, it definitely belongs down there. Next up, we got Terry Grawi, who made beef Wellington. Sure, that kind of resembles beef Wellington. I think it was also paired with like what looks to be a creme brulee that was severely charred on top, not bruleed, and a vegetable mash of some sorts. It looks like it has carrots, and on top of it, it looks like some sort of bread thing. It almost kind of looks like a savory version of a pain au chocolat. Either way, this seems like something a friend would make, where they would be like, oh, I made beef Wellington, you should come over and try it. And I'm like, oh yeah. Maybe start with something a little simpler next time. Next up, we got Karma Ann Moody, who made blackened salmon over risotto. And I said it before, I'll say it again. These people don't know what blackened means. That is burnt. That is burnt salmon. The judges said, wow, what a colorful plate, and then did not say anything else about the dish. But it looks like it's just burnt salmon, risotto. It looks like she cooked beets and carrots together to make it that like fun pink color, added strawberries and golden raisins. I would fuck with the fruit. And it also looks like she added the top of celery as a garnish. I think I would eat the vegetables, I would eat the fruit, maybe the risotto underneath. I don't think I would touch the salmon, but I don't know, maybe the restaurant just burnt the salmon and I just got a bad end of the stick. Next up, we got Julianne Sheldon, who made stuffed chicken breast. I do not know what it is stuffed with. I could not tell you. The judges said that the filling was compared to sand, both in texture and look and taste. So that's fun. I don't know what the side is either. Looks like we got some tomatoes and also raw ass cranberries. No one's gonna eat raw cranberries. Maybe someone out there, maybe Julian themselves eats raw cranberries. I don't know. I would try some of it though. After that, we got Peter Smerlaws, who made a seafood medley with pasta from scratch. If you thought this stuff here was pasta, you would be both correct and incorrect, because that's not pasta. But Peter's telling us it's pasta. Also, all of the seafood was overcooked, and the pasta, I say in quotation marks because they look like dumplings that my mom would put in a chicken dumpling soup. The pasta was so tough it was basically inedible, so maybe I would take a scallop. Barely. Can I interest anyone in Adrian Red's lobster with a homemade pasta? I'll let you guess where the pasta is. If you guessed the weird gray-shaped things, they're supposed to be hearts, and they're also supposed to be pasta. I don't know what the sauce on top is. Don't know why it's pink. Also, I know lobster is supposed to be red after it's cooked. It is very red. And then there's vegetables in the middle. I see broccoli and others. Moving on to Jonathan Byers' chicken, spinach, and fruit tart. There was no seasoning on the plate at all. The chicken was overcooked and nothing in the tart was baked. It is a pre-made crust that he filled with fruit, including kiwis that, if you look closely, still has the skin on it. Also, that looks like a bone. It does not look like a bone from a chicken though, so I am very confused what the fuck it is. What the fuck is that? I don't know, but if you remove the bone and just let me eat the fruit from inside the pie and not have any of the crust because you didn't bake it, I think we can put it in low C, low B. It might be high C. God, I could use a high C. So the next dish is super fucking funny to me, and I need to explain this because for some reason, this is like the only season that they gave them like a theme for cooking. Most of the time for these first dish rounds, the theme is literally just like prove to us that you should be here. Sometimes for like the celebrity editions, it's like, oh, create your favorite dish from a restaurant or something. But this is the first season that they were like, we want you to make your best date night dish. We want you to make a dish that you would serve on a date. So with that being said, this is Father Adam Young's lamb chops. Like the first time they're ever like, hey, we want you to make a date night dish. It's like, anyway, here's a priest. This looks extremely biblical. This looks like something that would have been served at the Last Supper. Like this, it's so on the nose. It's a chutney made of like apples, grapes, dates, and then also a hummus. There's red wine and everything. And the chef said that the hummus had a wallpaper taste, which I think is fun. Not really. Anyway, I would eat the pita. The grapes are fine. I think I wouldn't touch anything else, but that still gives me something to eat off the plate. I think Sharon Grant here is another example of the game, what protein is that? Because before I looked at the description, I would have told you that those are chicken wings underneath whatever that white, what looks to be mashed potato stuff is. Apparently it's tilapia. She made pan-seared tilapia with a cranberry soy sauce, which is just combining canned cranberry sauce and soy sauce. Anyway, the show does a lot of jokey stuff within the first episode, kind of making fun of the contestants. They literally created a public service announcement for this woman as to not combine soy sauce and cranberries. And I think that public service announcement was needed. I don't know what I would eat from this dish. I would eat part of the broccoli with the least amount of cran soy sauce on it, and you would have to pay me money to do so. Here we have Sadie Manda's everything but the kitchen sink Chinese food. And I'm not entirely sure what makes it Chinese. I guess it might be better than some of the other dishes that have had nationalities. Because, I mean, I guess there's baby corn. I wouldn't say baby corn is exclusive to Chinese cuisine, but sure. Fuck it. Anyway, the judges tried it and then coughed for a solid 30 seconds after the dish was eaten because it was so goddamn spicy. So I'm good. Weirdly would prefer it over the homemade pasta though. And the last dish of season 17 is Gina Lamb, who made Spam Sushi. Technically, yeah, but I know this more to be Spam Masubi. Hold on. So this is Spam Masubi. This is something that I legitimately make like once a month, if not twice a month, because it's so easy. You make sushi rice. I add a little bit of like rice wine vinegar into the rice. Then you fry up a slab of Spam and wrap it in seaweed paper. It's so good. It's such a simple meal, and I love it so much. This isn't the best example of that. It also looks like she made some sort of like fried rice thing, or like egg scramble with rice. They said that the asparagus wasn't cooked enough, but that's really all they said about it. So I wouldn't say that I would eat the full thing, because if I ordered this from a restaurant, I would remember that I have all of the ingredients to make Spam Masubi here, and I would just make that myself. So yeah, A tier. No S tiers. This is season 17. So, fun fact, the tier maker that I'm using, is starting to be a little sketchy. I think I've added so many pictures that it's like, hey, we don't really know what to do anymore, but I'm gonna keep pushing it, because I keep pushing myself. Who's ready for season 18? Starting off with Monica Caldwell, who made meatballs and mashed potatoes, and when the judges asked what kind of meat did you use, she said ground. Anyway, no one could cut through the meatballs because they were very dry and very tough, minus the ketchup that she put on top. The mashed potatoes don't really look like mashed potatoes. They look like a liquid. Like mashed potatoes are kind of supposed to keep their shape. They're still supposed to be kind of a solid. That's a liquid. That molded to the shape of the plate. So I think we're starting off with another C tier. Next up, we got Shannon Atkins, who made a stuffed chicken breast stuffed with goat cheese and spinach. She also made homemade cornbread that she cut into little hearts, which I think is fun. And French fries that look not cooked enough. Apparently everything was very dry, but she did end up winning the season. And I'm shocked. Like, a goat cheese, spinach, stuffed chicken breast sounds so fucking good. I mean, the product isn't all there, but I think this is something that would like intrigue me to go over to a friend's house, and then I would eat it and I would be like, we're not doing this again. I'm so sorry. These are Dakota Kalis's pulled pork sliders. She said while she was cooking, and I quote, usually my mom makes this in the slow cooker for 4 hours, so I'm gonna try to speed it up by using a flat top grill. And the judges said, and I quote, I would send this back if it was in a restaurant. I don't think it looks too bad. It looks like she put some sort of like pepper in it. It looks like she also toasted the buns more than they were already toasted. So I think this one's high C tier. I would rather eat it than the liquid mashed potatoes and ketchup dried ground meatballs. Next up, we got Alex Tiso's empanadas, which was made from raw cornmeal, which was very, very, very thick and solid. Actually, the judges compared it to a boat anchor. I don't know what's in the empanadas. I just know that the outside looks like that. So, honestly, looking at them, they look like burnt chicken tenders, and I genuinely, if I did not know if it was an empanada, would not know that it's an empanada, because that's not what empanadas look like. I'm gonna put it in the D tier. I gotta be paid to know what's inside those. Next up, we got Bridget Prater, who made chicken mac and cheese with hot dogs and green peas. And if I remember correctly, this is a single mom, or if not a single mom, just a mom in general. And it shows. This looks like a plate that you would give to a toddler, and I fuck with that. We got the cut up apple slices, we got some peppers, we got oranges, what looks like to be cheese, cut up a little bit of chicken breast, cut up some hot dogs on top. It looks like Kraft mac and cheese. It looks like she just took mac and cheese from the box and made that. And I think that's amazing. I would eat everything on this plate. My standards are on the floor at this point. Next up, we got Jolyn Singh, who made a saag paneer and malai curry with lamb. I butchered that pronunciation. I apologize. It basically means spinach and cheese, but she overcooked the lamb. And honestly, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, the lamb's overcooked, but I can still eat the rice. I don't know what was in the sauce. Curry, I assume, since it's a curry. So I think low B. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. Now we have Kelly Nyok Mac, who made chicken pho and summer rolls. Are summer rolls actually a thing? I know spring rolls are obviously a thing. So apparently summer rolls are a thing. They're Vietnamese. They're also referred to as spring rolls too, apparently. I am unfamiliar with Vietnamese cuisine other than pho, which I only learned how to pronounce correctly like 2 years ago. So, I don't know, it looks pretty good. It just looks like everything is completely covered in ground pepper. So, middle ground B. We got Jefferson Goldie, who made a cheeseburger lasagna, which again, I would yell, if you're making a lasagna, you have to have lasagna noodles, but it looks like he did add lasagna noodles down here at the bottom, but then also just rigatoni? I think that's what that noodle is. I just know there's a lot of cheese, and again, I fuck heavily with cheese. But the judges said, and again, as I quote, you didn't know what to make, so you just kind of put everything on the plate, didn't you? And you know what? Sometimes that's what life is. Just throw everything onto a plate and hope for the best. I mean, I don't really understand the difference between regular lasagna and cheeseburger lasagna anyway, considering maybe just using like cheddar cheese instead of like, I don't know, ricotta or some other cheese you would put in lasagna. Sure, I feel like there's a lot going in the B tier, this one. Next we have Mike Jones, who made beef Alfredo. Which just looks like beef hot dogs that were cut up on top of, it's not noodles, it could be rice. I am unsure of what the starch base is for this dish. The hot dogs also look very overcooked. I don't know how you made them look so goddamn dry, but it's slightly impressive. I think low B tier. Because I would still eat this part. I probably would eat all the hot dog chunks on top, even though they don't look that good. But also, I don't think I would touch anything at the bottom. Maybe this should be C tier. Nope, it's already too late. I've already put it into the tier list. I would play Guess the Protein on this next one, but when I took the picture, they labeled it for me. It's supposed to be smothered pork chops from Dr. Lulu Boykin. Yeah, however, they labeled it other pork chops. And again, love the face. But both of the chefs spit it out. And I don't know what it's smothered in. I see mushrooms, maybe like asparagus. I don't know. I'm not vibing with it though, because it's gray. Food should not be gray. Yeah, sure, fuck it. Up next we got Ryan Grovey, who made enchiladas, but for quick reference, how about we look at some pictures of some real enchiladas? You see that? You know, meat, cheese, probably some vegetables, shoved in a tortilla, smothered in cheese, and a delicious sauce. And this is what Ryan made. Do you see any comparisons? I guess you could say a deconstructed enchilada, but also he didn't provide any tortillas. The judges said it looked like the wheel from Wheel of Fortune, and I would have to slightly agree. Components-wise, I would still eat the lettuce and tomato, and I don't think I would touch the beans. I'm not sure what's in the rice. That looks like a cheese-beef mixture. Love me a good side salad. Yeah. Ah, what is that? Oh my god, Kevin So made Asian stir fry. What is that? That looks like part of a fucking trash bag. Like one of those giant like black garbage bags. Like, you know, sometimes they rip a little bit and you can rip off a piece. That's what it looks like. Also, the rice is very undercooked. I can tell just from the picture. I'm just still so focused on what you charred onto a pan and then decided to serve to judges. Oh my god. Is that better or worse than the fucking deconstructed enchilada? This is worse. Actually, this is much worse, but better or worse than the fucking non-empanada? I think it's worse than the non-empanada empanada. Yeah, I would need at minimum $200 to eat whatever the black thing is, but like 25 bucks to eat a singular piece of vegetable. And lastly, for season 18, we got Leo Leck, who made Glumpki and pierogies. And I will give anyone who can a crisp high five if you can, in fact, point out where the fuck the pierogi is on this dish. What do you mean? Is it underneath the burnt bacon? I understand the Glumpki, which is just like cabbage filled with like meat and rice over a tomato sauce, and apparently the red cabbage here was sugary. I don't know how you did that. I'm concerned about this dish. Again, I'm unsure other than tomato what's in the sauce. I don't know what kind of meat is in here, but considering what you did to the fucking bacon, I don't trust it. And I'm upset that I'm not getting a pierogi. But we pulled through and we added season 18 into the ranking. Here it is. I should have said throughout this entire series, pause if you actually want to look at it, but I'm gonna make it hard because I'm gonna keep doing this. So moving on to season 19, which is yet again another celebrity edition of Worst Cooks in America. We're starting off with Wells Adams, who was in Bachelor in Paradise or a Bachelor in Paradise star. I don't know. He made Portuguese lasagna. Don't know what makes it Portuguese. But he made the pasta from scratch, which is, I think, what these, like, I don't know, yellowy things in. I thought those were potatoes. But it was also made with jalapenos, mozzarella, ricotta. Yeah, no, none of this is Portuguese. Anyway, the judges also did that thing where they flipped it upside down like a fucking Dairy Queen blizzard and it stuck to the plate. Because apparently there's so much cheese. The noodles were very chewy. I'm good. Like, I understand that most of it is cheese, and I very much like cheese, but like, if I had a meal and I flipped the plate upside down and it did not move at all, I'm good. I don't need that in my life. I don't want to know what that would do to my internal organs. Next up, we got Sonia Morgan from The Real Housewives of New York, who made Surf and Turf. And before I show you the picture, when I say surf and turf, what is your first immediate reaction? I know deep down inside it means a fish and a land animal, but in my brain that is steak and lobster, maybe steak and crab, but it is steak and some sort of like shelled fish. What if I told you it was lamb chops and halibut? I would personally be disappointed, because that's what she did make, and everyone spit out the lamb chop. Both were undercooked, so technically really should not eat it. Also, fun fact, she made everything in a toaster oven because she is afraid of real ovens, but she is not afraid to shove an entire lamb roast and a fish and asparagus into a single toaster oven. You wonder why shit's raw. No, I'm good. I would eat the little side salad. Can't go wrong with a little side salad. Next up, we got the comedian Bridget Everett, who made a buffalo chicken dip and also buffalo chicken for the buffalo chicken dip. Like, she tried to make chicken tenders that tasted like buffalo chicken tenders and then also a dip to dip the tender into. I think it's fun. I think it's creative. So did the judges. They said it was an interesting concept, but not very well executed, which is fair because I think the stuff on the side is supposed to be the breading for the chicken tender. But yeah, no, this seems like something a friend would make and be like, isn't this such a cool concept? And I'm like, absolutely. Let me try it out next time. And I don't know if honestly I could execute this any better because my degree is in baking and pastry, but I don't know. I could figure out how to make a chicken tender pretty well. After that, we got another comedian, Brian Posen, who I fucking love. Not exactly loving this dish though. It's chicken skewers, rice, and a salad. The rice was from a box. There's not really any seasoning. The meat's cooked, but the veggies on the skewer are raw. The skewer also looks like it might have been on fire at one point. Side salad looks nice though. Looks like a little bit of a Greek salad or something. I actually don't know what the white stuff in the salad is. Never mind. It's cucumbers and a white sauce with other white vegetables. Okay. I'm fine with a little bit of raw vegetable as long as the chicken's cooked. Next up, we got Dave Coulier, who is Joey from Full House, but he made Cajun salmon, red potatoes, asparagus, and Brussels sprouts. And they said the salmon was cooked pretty well, but it lacks seasoning, and it was compared to airline food, which again, I feel like is a borderline compliment, and I think I would genuinely enjoy this. I mean, the potatoes look really nice. I fucking love Brussels sprouts. It's a small piece of fish, so if it's not flavored very well, I only have to eat a small portion of it. After that, we got Robin Givens, who I personally know the most from being the mayor from Riverdale, but she made zuppa di pesce, which is a fish stew, and they said that the fish was a little overcooked, but there was some really good flavors, which again, I feel like that is the highest compliment you can get on Worst Cooks in America. Good flavors? Fuck, everyone overcooks things now and again, but if it tastes good, I shouldn't really care, should I? And lastly, from season 19, we got Johnny Bananas, who apparently was on The Challenge a bunch. I've never heard of the show The Challenge, if I'm being completely honest. But he made hibachi, which is not the last time people on the show are gonna try to make hibachi. I think it's something that in their brain they think is easy because they've seen it done before, like in person. It's just like, oh, I just move a bunch of stuff around on a flat top grill until it's cooked. Anyway, he spent most of the challenge trying to perform hibachi tricks and making drinks for everyone. Also, everything was just covered in teriyaki sauce. The shrimp was not shelled or cleaned. The rice is burnt, and the chefs tore him a new one, telling him he wasn't trying to take this seriously. I really don't think he was either, but weirdly enough would still try like the broccoli and like some of the squash, it looks like, over whatever the fuck the solid fucking cement was on this plate. No A's, no F's. You're either really good or fucking mid. There is no in between. Okay, here we are, still going strong? Question mark? I feel very weak right now. Very, very weak, but here are 19 seasons all in one. Well, I mean, 19 seasons minus season 7, and also now minus season 20. Because as you can read from the news article I have pulled up here, Worst Cooks of America, season 20, pulled from Food Network after the winner was charged with murdering her 3-year-old adopted daughter. So... yeah, that season's wiped. I'll show you this just because I need to explain to you why I'm not doing season 20. So moving on to season 21. Starting with Aisha Dwyer, who made country fried cube steak. She cooked the steaks for quite literally the entire time they were allotted to cook, which is a full 60 minutes. She kept that meat on like a heated surface for an entire hour. It was also paired with like a rice bean combination thing. Looks like it's got some peppers on the side. I don't even think I could cut the steak, let alone eat it. You cooked meat for a full hour on a hot pan? Like, we're not slow roasting this shit, because you would need to slow roast it for longer than an hour, but you also can't cook a steak for an hour. No! After that, we got Mo Nordalin, who made lamb biryani. He also hard-boiled eggs and then fried the hard-boiled eggs with the meat. The meat had no flavor. Nothing was really brown. This doesn't show you really the size of the plate that was given to the judges, but it truly was a serving for like 6 people for 2 judges for a taste test. So I couldn't eat half of this if I tried for either the A or B tier, so I think I have to put this in C. It doesn't look bad, but also I'm not entirely sure what anything is other than there's lamb in it. Here we have Jonathan Hanna's stuffed grape leaves, which is stuffed with rice, ground beef, and just wrapped in grape leaves. The beef was overcooked, and there was literally nothing else in the grape leaves. I guess is okay. Like, I mean, there's not gonna be a whole lot of flavor. Like I said, like a ground beef rice situation with literally no flavor is what we used to feed my dog, and it is still edible. Grape leaves are fine. It looks like there's some sort of like really sad tzatziki sauce in the center, because I think those are chopped up cucumbers. I don't know. I would still probably eat half of it because I'm like, it's fancy. It's wrapped in grape leaves. Like, I'm not gonna disrespect another culture by not wanting to eat this. And then I realized it's not disrespecting another culture. This, the food in general was slightly disrespectful of the culture. Next up, we got Michaela Carter, who made hot dog Alfredo with a broccoli casserole. She added mayonnaise to the Alfredo, which isn't in Alfredo sauce, but she also stuck the pasta noodles through chunks of hot dog to do that thing I've seen on the internet. And the judges ripped her apart for it for some reason. I don't know why. I think that's fun. I think that's creative. The sauce was also just very fatty. But honestly, I would fuck with this. I would fuck with this hard. Love me a dish that you put a little extra thought into it to make it seem cool. And I think the spaghetti noodles in the hot dogs are really cool. Next up, we have a jump scare by JJ Hurt, who made ramen with chicken feet. Oh my. Oh my. There's nothing wrong with eating chicken feet. I personally don't think I've ever eaten chicken feet before, but if I had to figure out what to do with chicken feet, it would be to keep it in the pot with like the other stuff that you use for like stocks. Like if you made like a chicken broth, you would put chicken feet in it on a low, slow temperature to get the flavoring of the chicken feet. But oh my God, the judges said that it would scare a small child if it was presented to one. They also started coughing and gagging after trying it because it was both overtly spicy, and he also put an entire bottle of soy sauce into it. So with all of that being said, easy F tier, because I am personally afraid of that. And again, I would personally eat chicken feet, but that is horrifying. After that, we have a lady named Joy Blessing, and I can't tell if her parents loved her or hated her, but boy howdy did everyone hate her dish, which was a holiday ham, which was a canned ham with pineapple and green beans, blueberries. She basically cooked the ham and she boiled the ham in orange juice. She took the canned ham, put it into a container, poured orange juice over the entire thing and put it in the oven. It would cost you a lot of money just for me to eat a fucking blueberry. I'm not touching the sweet ham. Like, don't get me wrong. There's some, like, if you put pineapple on a ham, like, I'm not even a really big fan of that. She boiled it. Not just covered, fucking boiled in orange juice. Next, we got Chandali Gulick's pork chops and applesauce, which, first off, she washed the pork chops with dish soap. Secondly, the applesauce was literally just cut up apples. No sauce. Anyway, the pork chop was overcooked and underseasoned. You know what? Love me some raw apples, maybe covered in like some sugar, cinnamon mixture. I would eat that. I would eat that over the miscellaneous random rices and sauces on this plate. Next up is Stephanie James, who made lasagna and did not cook her lasagna noodles beforehand, which I realize is a common occurrence on this show. You gotta boil the noodles a little bit before you put it in the sauce. The sauce isn't gonna boil the noodles and cook it. It's just gonna kind of absorb the flavor, be like a barrier for layers. So the pasta was not cooked fully through. Anyway, there's also ground beef and a little side salad. And like I've said, love a little side salad. It saved me in a lot of these dishes. So I think B. B, because I could eat a little bit of raw noodle and the side salad and my friend would be content. Next up is Tiffany Billingsley, who made a taco ring pie with guacamole. That looks so fucking good. I kind of want that right now. She used canned croissant dough, so I knew she didn't fuck up the dough too bad. She also used apparently an entire bag of shredded cheese in it. It's also a little spicy, so I think this is an S tier. I think this is low S tier because the pastry, the croissant dough looks a little dark, but I would still heavily fuck with this. This would be something that I would find at a party and just leech myself onto. Oh goodness. Amber Leverett made steak that was covered in coffee grounds and sugar and salt, and then cooked the steak for 40 minutes. And then poured the grease over the entire plate as if it were a sauce. So you see that layer of liquid at the bottom of the plate? That is straight oil. That is horrifying. I mean, combined pouring the oil on top with the ground coffee, salt, sugar rub that she put on the no, that's F tier. No, just knowing like the fucking coffee ground text, However, still somehow not worse than the chicken feet, and she did actually win the season, but the seasoning in this dish was not it. Up next, Cameron Barlett made crawfish fettuccine, which is also paired with what he calls his famous candy fudge, which is this little corner here, which is sour gummies glued together with marshmallows, white chocolate, and butter. And when presented to the judges, he said, "This is my famous white candy fudge." And the judges said, and I quote, "Don't make that for anyone anymore. Ever." Honestly, it doesn't seem too bad. Like, it's gonna be overtly sugary, don't get me wrong. It also seems like something that I would have made, like, as a child, that, like, it would have been so good in my brain, and then I would have tasted it, and I would have been like, I'm a child, and I fucking love sugar, so fuck it. Yeah, sure. It's great. I don't know. The side salad is there. There looks to be, like, a little bit of garlic bread. No, they didn't really say anything about the crawfish fettuccine. High B tier? I don't know, the pasta looks pretty good, and that is the main part of the dish. And lastly, for season 21, we got Watika Lem, who also made a stuffed chicken breast with spinach, and this one looks better than the other stuffed chicken breast with spinach. I don't know what the white stuff in it. It could also be goat cheese. They could have both done goat cheese. I don't know. They said it was dry, but the roasted red mashed potato fucking thing looks really fucking good. The asparagus looks really good. It doesn't look too dry. Like, at least there's a filling in there compared to other dry-ass chickens. Again, this looks like something that would be served at like a hotel banquet, and I think I would fuck with that heavy more than any of the other things. Season 21, motherfuckers! Tier list, now updated with season 21. This is a full like 3 scrolls down with my mouse. 5. I counted 5. Actually, I'm not sure anymore. I don't know how to count. My brain is mush. Moving on to season 22! Which, if I'm being completely honest, I didn't know if I wanted to include season 22 or not, but we're here, and I'll do it. The reason why I wasn't sure if I wanted to include this or not is because season 22, they invite back people that were already on the show, like fan favorites that got out earlier in the season of their season, and invited them back. So these people already have a little bit of cooking knowledge because they're not the worst of the worst. They used to be the worst of the worst, and then they were slightly worse than some of the worst. I don't know. But the challenge for this dish was to recreate the dish that sent you home the first time. So we're gonna get some bougie ass fucking dishes this round. Starting off with Jefferson Goldie, who was on season 18, who had to make fried chicken and deviled eggs, which I think I could heavily argue that that's not a deviled egg. That is a hard-boiled egg that you cut in half and then sprinkled paprika onto. The chicken looks really good though. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of these, I don't think there's any dishes in this season that are lower than a B. After that, yet again, we have Dr. Lulu Boykin from season 18, who made pork tenderloin with sweet potato mash. And it doesn't look very pretty, and described it as something that my cat puked up, but it tastes better than it looked, and you know what? That's given something. That's sure. Next up, we got Joey Kinsley from season 21, who made chicken enchiladas. They look a little messy, but apparently they didn't taste too bad. So again, it's really hard for me to judge these. I've been looking at shitty food for so long. Now that they have a little bit of skill, I don't know how am I supposed to judge them? We got another fried chicken, mashed sweet potato thing from Sadie Manda from season 17. This time she had to break down the whole chicken by herself. And the last time that she tried to make fried chicken, she served it raw and that's why she went home. So this time it was fully cooked. The sauce was super sweet. It literally looks just like maple syrup, which I kind of fuck with, but it's also not as good as the other fried chicken. And it's also just such a small portion. I don't know, B. Never mind. I figured out what the sauce is made of. It contains maple syrup, bourbon, agave, Greek yogurt, and sugar. Yeah, no, that definitely deserves to be in B. I'm fine with pure maple syrup on fried chicken, but you add agave and sugar? I would also be fine with the bourbon if you just poured straight bourbon on my chicken. No, please don't do that. We also got another pork tenderloin. This is specifically pork tenderloin with farro and a peach chutney. This is from Stephanie James from season 21. She got sent home last time due to knife cuts, but this time it tasted pretty good, and I guess since it's the first challenge, they weren't really too focused on knife cuts. But I mean, it looks better than Lulu's, so A tier, but better than Lulu's. I do like this season though, because we get a little bit of insight into season 20 with Eric Smart, who was from season 20, who made a fish fillet with a side of broccolini. It was flounder fish. He had to fillet it himself. And then he also just threw raw ass pecans on the plate. I mean, yeah, I would eat this entire thing just because it's such a small amount. Sure. Another season 20 contestant was Domaine Javir, who made flounder piccata with corn and carrots. She had to fillet her own fish. She also made a pasta dip, which is not a dip. You can't really dip things into pasta. I mean, you could, but then you get 2 carbs, which I'm not mad about. But I don't know. What I do know about Domaine is that she tried to melt cream cheese in a frying pan, and the fish was soggy. It still doesn't look too bad, so I think it's in between the good pork tenderloin and the weird-looking pork tenderloin. And lastly, we got Jonathan Byer back from season 17, who had to make a lamb with pomegranate relish, and it doesn't look too bad. I mean, looking at it from like an eating perspective, I don't know how I'm supposed to eat it, because I would assume you would take like the pita and like pick up the meat, but like the chunks of meat look bigger than the pita bread. I don't know, the meat was tough. The seasoning was good though, so I guess B tier. This is season 22's ranking. Season 22, added to the list. You only need to see the top 3. Nothing changed with the bottom ones. Anyway, on to season 23. Did I say 23 or did I say 22 before? Numbers don't mean jack shit to me anymore. Anyway, beginning. Season 23, we got Denise White, who made swordfish and mac and cheese. It looks like she made swordfish 2 different ways or with 2 different types of seasoning. She also added eggs to the mac and cheese, so it's like scrambled egg mac and cheese. They said that the flavors aren't bad, but the texture is awful for the mac and cheese. Which, yeah, if scrambled egg mac and cheese, if you told me that's what it was, it feels like it wouldn't be that bad. But if I bit into something knowing that it's mac and cheese and I get scrambled egg texture, I'ma be upset. But they said the flavors were good, so I think that's an A tier. Next up is Kara Anderson. Next up is me fist fighting the fucking motorcyclist outside. Next up is Kara Anderson, who I guess we can play the game Guess That Protein, because every time I look at this, I expect it to be a pork chop, and then I learn it's a tuna steak. I don't eat cooked tuna enough. I feel like every time I get tuna, it's like raw for sushi, like I'll get sashimi, and it's just, I'm used to it being pink. But yeah, I guess that is what a tuna steak looks like. It was also paired with a garlic aioli, but it was real salty. However, the tuna was cooked nicely, and the squash was over seasoned. But once I get in my brain that that is in fact a tuna steak, I think that's high up on the list, maybe like high A tier. But again, my brain just keeps telling me that's a fucking pork chop. Next up, we got Al Kingswriter, who made Cajun Alfredo with an andouille, give me a second, an andouille sausage with shrimp as well. Anyway, the sauce was extremely fatty and everything was overcooked, but the Cajun spice was nice. I'm not really a big fan of spice though, and I don't know, it doesn't look bad, but I would eat the garlic bread on the side. Fucking love me some good garlic bread. After that, we got Bianca Benskami's rice, beans, and chicken, and the beans were good. I don't know where the beans are in the cup. I thought that was a dipping sauce. That is a soup. That is bean soup. Apparently the beans were good. Chicken was well breaded, but slightly pink in the middle, but not technically raw, and the rice was undercooked. I mean, it's got a side salad. The rice may be undercooked, but it doesn't look undercooked like some other ones. I genuinely thought the beans were a soup and or dipping sauce for the chicken. Still weirdly looks better than the chicken from the previous season, the lighter colored one with the sweet ass fucking sauce, so A tier. Sure, I'm not technically gonna get salmonella from it, but I don't know, I got a good immune system anyway, fuck it. We got Marty Cummings, who made steak and fried potatoes and asparagus, and the asparagus is absolutely covered in pepper. But he didn't season the steak. It also looks like he might have cooked it the entire time that they had to cook. That is dark. That is not the color steak should really be. But we got like a little mozzarella tomato basil salad over here. It looks like a little caprese salad minus the balsamic vinegar. I fuck with that. Not really gonna touch the steak, but the potatoes look so fucking good. So I think that's a B. So I would eat like the potatoes and the salad and then not touch anything else. Next up is Peacha Iman Cummings, which is a drag queen name. I feel like I should specify. She actually also won the season because this season was like pairs of people. It was either friends or like neighbors or husband and wife, yada, yada, yada. But the drag queens made it to the season finale. Both of them did, which makes me feel really good. But looking at this now, what she made was pad thai, and I had to include that she originally served it in a cake pan before the judges flopped it out, and it stayed all in one piece. So that's fun. Also pictured here kind of in the corner or just on the side of the picture is a green papaya salad, which features whole cloves of garlic in it, not cooked, raw garlic. Anyway, the judges spit it all out. It was not good, but again, they won the season, so hooray for the gays, even though I am putting you in low C tier. Next up, we got Eddie Anderson with another attempt at hibachi. Did hibachi noodles with steak and shrimp, and the noodles are very crunchy, I can tell just from the picture. He also included a yum sauce along with it, and the chef said the yum sauce was not yummy. So, yeah, I maybe would take a shrimp. Probably one of the vegetables, though. If that, you know what, if that's where the tier list wants to put it, fuck it. I'm letting the tier list influence my decisions. Next up is Angie Hartford Padilla, who made catfish, and honestly, it looks really, really good. It's paired with like an okra and mashed potatoes and cottage cheese. I have to include that Anne spit out the food, which is as good as this looks. I have to take this into consideration, so fucking B tier. Sure, why not? Next up is Hector Peralta, who made mofongo. You know, it's made with pork belly, and it was his first time ever making it. And someone else during one of the seasons made mofongo, and I can't remember if this is better or worse than the first version, but I know one of the chefs said, and I quote, "I love mofongo." This is not mofongo. I think it's better than the pad thai. Hi, Mason. Are you gonna help me rank this list? Please? I'm begging you. Next up, we got Hilda Ike, who made curry chicken. And just by looking from the picture, I can tell that the rice is crunchy and underdone. But I also have to mention that this bitch added 2 ghost peppers into her curry. 1 ghost pepper would have been 2 ghost peppers. I don't like spice. This is another one where she pepper sprayed the kitchen, and I do not support that. However, this seems like one of those like spice challenges where it's like, oh hey, for like 50 bucks, if you complete this challenge and don't vomit up your insides from coughing, wheezing, and hacking from the fucking spices, you win. So if I paid money afterwards, I'll suffer for a little bit. Next up is Cheyenne Loomis, who made bibimbap. Even though she had never eaten it before, let alone made it. Anyway, there was quite literally no seasoning. So it's sad fried eggs on top of overcooked steak, some vegetables, and rice. The rice looks well done from what I can see, but I guess I'm eating straight rice that isn't touching anything else. But if there's no seasoning, then there's no bad seasoning. So why not? And the last dish of season 23 is Melody Moore, who made miso soup, which I don't think is pictured, and also a beef stir fry, which is what is currently being pictured. Anyway, there is a lot of pepper on top, like a lot, and there was no other seasoning added throughout the dish. It's just like she forgot seasoning and then remembered at the end and just covered it in pepper. Also, apparently the miso soup was literally just hot water and miso paste, which is not miso soup. So, better than the mofongo, worse than the hibachi. No one stood out in either direction in season 23. There we are, season 23 into the big ranking, the main differences. I put season 23 into the main ranking. Moving on to season 24, which I believe is another celebrity edition. Yeah, I was right, it's a celebrity edition, but specifically That's So 90s. So it's all people that were popular on TV during the 90s. For example, Nicole Tom from The Nanny. She was the eldest daughter, which was so mind-jarring to me because as I was collecting data for this video, I was actively binge-watching The Nanny. So going from her being a teenager, like college-age student, to in her mid-30s, if not older than that, I honestly don't know how old she is now or how old she was when she filmed it, but she made chicken enchiladas. She also made homemade tortillas, but again, when it was flipped upside down, like a Dairy Queen Blizzard, it fucking stuck to the plate. And they said there was almost too much seasoning, but that doesn't mean that there's too much seasoning, there's almost too much seasoning. So B tier. Next up we got Eliza Donovan from Clueless, who made a rosemary beef tenderloin with potatoes and broccolini, and this this bitch took finger-length potatoes that are already very small potatoes and cut them into even smaller pieces. Love that. Honestly, it doesn't look like that big of a portion, and I fuck with beef tenderloin, so yeah, no, that's an S tier. Curtis Williams from The Parenthood made chicken, broccoli, rice casserole paired with a fruit salad made with pineapple, cherry pie filling, and Cool Whip. And everyone thought that the casserole was really mushy, and they for some reason fucking hated the fruit salad, which is rude because even though I don't like cherries, I think this is something that I would really enjoy. Like maybe if you did like a different pie flavoring or pie filling, I think I would really like that. Also, I don't know, the casserole looks like something, this looks like something my mom would serve me. Like no hate to my mom and no hate to Curtis, and I don't know. He was the first out of the season though, even though I'm putting him in S tier. We got Lori Beth Denberg from All That, who made fried chicken and mac and cheese, and the chicken was raw coming out of the oil, so she baked it, so it's a par fried baked chicken. I don't know, the breading tasted good, so I think that's a solid A tier. I think I would fuck up the mac and cheese. Next we got Jenny Kwan from California Dreams, who made Korean style short ribs, which was paired with a twice baked potato she only baked once. People truly do not know what words mean once they're in the kitchen. In what fucking world does twice baked potato mean put it in the oven once? 2 does not equal 1. Anyway, the potato was raw. She also paired it with like a cauliflower or like a roasted cauliflower, but that was also raw, so I don't really want to call it a roasted cauliflower. Anyway, the short rib they said wasn't bad. Again, it was compared to airline food, which is a fairly high compliment. Low A tier. After that, we got Tracy Gold from Growing Pains, who made a pasta bake and shrimp frittata, which she definitely mistook the word frittata for fritter, because that is a shrimp fritter. Frittata involves eggs. I don't think she put any eggs in it. Anyway, the pasta bake is overcooked and dry, but the flavor's okay, and the fritter's a little dense. And she ended up winning the season, but mid-A tier. Up next, we got Jodie Sweetin from Full House, who made Hawaiian shrimp tacos with a jalapeno cream sauce, corn, and beans. The beans were not flavored, they came straight out of a can, and the shrimp is overcooked. And she was actually the runner-up of the season, and I don't think it would be that bad if the chunks of pineapple weren't as big as the pieces of shrimp. It's just that I feel like shrimp, and I don't think it's fresh pineapple. I think it's pineapple out of a can. Like that, I don't know. They have not a similar texture, but if I bit into a tortilla, it's not a bad concept, but the execution I'm terrified of. So we're putting low B tier. Next up, we got Mark Long from Road Rules, who made a pepperoni pizza gnocchi bake, which was paired with a side salad, and he also added bacon into the pepperoni pizza gnocchi bake, except he did not cut up the bacon and it wasn't crispy. So imagine you bite into something and like you pull out a fucking entire piece of non-crispy bacon. That's an image that I am not really fond of. So mid B? That's the wrong picture. This is it. Fuck. But the last contestant of That's So 90s Celebrity Edition of Worst Cooks in America is Matthew Lawrence from Mrs. Doubtfire. It includes eggplant parmesan, and they said the texture of the eggplant was good, but it was really thin. The cheese crust on top was thicker than the sliced eggplant, which is interesting, and I honestly kind of fuck with that. Like, if it's a crispy, cheesy top, that sounds so fucking good. Not as good as everything else on the S tier. No, definitely not as good as everything else on the S tier, but still looks pretty nice. What the fuck is with the celebrity chefs doing good? You're not supposed to know how to cook. That's the whole purpose of the show. Why are we in S and B and A tier? I fucking S, A, and B tier. That is the way that it goes. This is the way my brain crumbles like a fucking cookie. There we are, season 24 added into the list. I'll be nice this time. I'll go slow so you can check out all of the stuff this time. I don't know. I'm trying to kill time because, again, we have to skip another season because season 25 doesn't exist because the chef judge of the show, minus Anne Burrell, the second judge, was Darnell Ferguson, who, yeah. Anyway, I guess season 26, we're tricking along real quick. So season 26, all that's left after this is season 27, so let's get this shit over with. Starting off so fucking strong with James Bates, who made chocolate pasta, which is homemade pasta with cocoa powder and chocolate sauce. Apparently it was eggy, but in the way of like sulfury egg. Which I don't know how he did that. I see some raspberries. The texture of the fucking sauce is weirding me out. The random hazelnuts on top are not helping. I would eat one of the random hazelnuts on top. Next up, we got Matthew Middleto, who made spaghetti and meatballs with chicken parm all combined into one. And the judges said all of the components were there, but they were not utilized. I don't know. Fucking spaghetti. Chicken parm, they're very similar. Throw some marinara sauce on top of all of it, sure, fuck it. I'm fucked, fuck, man. Next up is Charles Osborne, who made crab cakes, asparagus, and tomatoes, and yes, he did specifically make it look like someone was reaching behind them and spreading their butt cheeks. That is on purpose, which is creative. Does not help when the judges spit it out and call it low quality. As creative and fun as it is, I think I would eat a piece of asparagus and I would not touch anything else on the plate. Definitely better than the sulfur fucking chocolate spaghetti. Next up, I fucking forgot about this one. Sterling Quinn, who made steak and mac and cheese, and she was very, very, very adamant about adding pink food coloring to the mac and cheese. Except, as someone who works with food coloring quite a bit, you need literally the smallest amount of fucking pink food coloring if you want to dye anything any shade of red. Like, if you want pink, it is the tiniest drop. But what pisses me off about this even more is that I'm completely fine with weirdly adding food coloring to food that does not need food coloring. My problem is that when you dye mac and cheese pink and then you proceed to add blue cheese into the fucking mac and cheese, why would you do that? First off, I'm not the biggest fan of blue cheese because mentally I cannot get over the fact that it is mold. I've had it before. It's not awful, but it's not good. It's definitely not good in mac and cheese, and my brain would short circuit if I bit into mac and cheese. It tasted like blue cheese and it's fucking pink. Fucking, oh my god, what is wrong with these people? Where do I put this? It's going in the C tier, but where in the C tier? Mid C. Next we got Sammy White, who made a French toast sandwich with home fries, and the judges said to her, and I quote, "This is a 3 a.m. drunk person sandwich." Which I fuck with so hard. They also said that the egg in the sandwich was perfectly cooked. What more could I ask for? I don't know what the sauces are on the side, but I'm terrified of, honestly, that yellow one. I'm hoping this brown one is maple syrup. I hope. Either way, I don't have to use the sauces, but I would truly eat everything else on the plate. Michael Kaskoff made a bacon burger with cheese sauce on the side and garlic french fries, except the burger was raw and the fries were raw. Technically, everything was inedible. I would risk getting worms for a couple bucks. If you pay for my medical bills, I'll eat the raw hamburger. Denz Moody made a surf and turf with potato salad, except the ribeye for the turf part of the surf and turf, he cut into the smallest pieces for quote-unquote easier chewing. The judges did not chew it very long. They spit it out almost immediately after putting it in their mouth. So I think I'm gonna go C tier because I don't know. Maybe I would eat a piece of steak. Maybe I would eat one of the very sad lobster tails that I'm not entirely sure are fully cooked. Or maybe I would eat a single grape out of the potato salad. There are just so many of the C's and going in the C tier. Where do I go? What do I do? No, I think that's fine. Denz Arcelia made seafood. I was so focused on pronouncing his last name. What the fuck is that? Seafood paella. The rice was burnt. It looks undercooked. Burnt and undercooked at the same time. Again, really impressive stuff, but not impressive in the way that I would want it to be, so... Alright. Next up, we got Jessica Singer's Spicy Honey Chicken, and it was slightly burnt. You can see some little burnt pieces. And the judges compared it to a sample you would get at a mall food court. So, as someone who fucks with samples from mall food courts, yeah, it's S tier. That is a compliment to me. Next up is Allegra Melton, who made butter chicken with a spicy tomato sauce with a bacon broccoli salad. The sauce apparently covered your mouth in fat, and not in the good kind of way. In the ways if you took like a tablespoon of butter and then just mashed it in between your tongue and the roof of your mouth, and you get that like weird film over both of them and you're really uncomfortable about the whole thing. The salad looks really good though, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's a B tier. I think I would eat the salad, maybe part of the chicken to appease a friend, and yada yada, bam, boom, wow, thank you! Next up is Ethereal Quinn, who made spaghetti, catfish, and garlic bread and added Dijon mustard to the pasta sauce. Apparently the fish was severely under-seasoned, and it was called cafe-grade spaghetti. Unlike, I feel like, airline food and mall food court samples, cafeteria isn't the best compliment. You could still feed it to children, so I don't know. Next up, we got Tanita Morgan, who made a halibut and piccata and zoodles, I say in quotations, because she could not figure out how to get the machine to work. The thing that, like, makes the vegetable noodles. So she just diced everything. The fish was overcooked, burnt on the outside, way too much pepper. This is kind of more what I would assume a blackened fish would be like, except not well done, but there's so much pepper on the outside that it blackened the crust anyway. Not loving it though. Not hating it though. Next up is Amy Solomon, who made Eggs Benedict. I fucking love Eggs Benedict. That is like the one thing I order when I go out to eat for breakfast, because it's like the one thing that I know. I know how to make hollandaise sauce, but it's really fucking complicated making sure that the fats and like anything else doesn't separate and become like chunky or oily. She did not do that. She also, I can't tell if this is like links of sausage, like a sausage link that was cut up. I don't know if that is a poached egg or if what happened to the eggs. I know she just dumped cayenne pepper on the top of it and they held the plate vertically and it didn't move because the hollandaise sauce glued it to the plate. I'm also not entirely sure what this stuff off to the side is. I don't know if they said. I didn't catch it, but she was also the first one to be sent home this season. So slightly understandable. Still somehow better than the chocolate pasta. Next up is Zach Russell, who made pretty tie for a white guy. Again, not entirely sure what makes this tie. The judges flipped the script on him and said it's pretty dry for a white guy, which I don't think is true. I think a lot of white guys that I've met are severely dry. But I don't know, there's a lot of rice in the middle. It doesn't look undercooked. It doesn't look like too overcooked. It looks like there's some chicken and random vegetables in here, so yeah, because there's a lot of rice in the middle I can eat. So this next one from Kermit Moss Jr. is shrimp tacos and rice. And on my list, because I have like an entire list and fucking comments and all of the rankings that I've did, I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, why did I rank this so low? And then I remembered that this man fucking put his food on a dirty plate from the fucking dishwasher and the chef still tried it. They are better people than me because that, Imagine you took a plate out of your dishwasher, if you have a dishwasher, or if you don't have a dishwasher, imagine taking a dirty dish out of the fucking sink and just wiping it off and putting new food on. This is not a joke. This is not me faking it. I'm legit. It would have been fine if you would have put it on a clean plate. I am legitimately gagging. That is immediately F tier. Oh my god. Moving on to the last dish of season 26. We got Lou Toquette, who made steak and garlic mashed potatoes and cream spinach. And the steak was apparently cooked to death and he added an entire stick of butter into the meal somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where, but there is an entire stick of butter somewhere. And you know what? Somehow that is both real good and real bad. Fucking sure. I just don't want to think about the dirty plate anymore. So, final rankings for season 26. We'll add it to the master list. The master list will load. We only have 2 seasons left, buddy. You stick with me. One more season. One more season. Home stretch. We're gonna end strong. We're gonna end in a sprint. We're gonna sprint through these. This is Costa Giorgopoulos, who made Chinese beef and broccoli with pot stickers. And I thought for a second that the pot stickers weren't shown in this picture. There are these little tan things on the side. Do not know where the broccoli is. They also found some garlic paper in one of the pot stickers. So, C tier. Moving on to Kathy Jacobson, who made, what did she make? Chicken tikka masala. She also made homemade naan. That's what that thing on the side is. I guess that's kind of naan looking. It's bread. Naan is bread. Bread is bread. The underside was burnt to fuck. That's not shown. But she was told that it tastes better than it looks, but it still doesn't taste good. She was also the first person to go home of the season, but this is quite a bit of rice. I think I would still fuck with the bread, so... Sure, no. Sure, no. Sure. Next up is Frankie Cena, who made a fried chicken sandwich and also brought a box and stickers for the box with his face, which is the most presentation I've ever seen anyone put into the show before. Most people just take a spoonful and slap it on a plate, but he's like, advertisement sells, and he gets it, but he also doesn't get it because the chicken was overcooked, it was crunchy, it was really dry, it was basically all breading. It was also paired with some sweet potato waffle fries. You know what? If fucking, I don't know, what restaurant doesn't have a chicken sandwich at this point? Fuck, if Taco Bell came out with a fucking chicken sandwich, this would be it, and I would still probably try it. I wouldn't say it would be good, but it's a chicken sandwich. Next up, we got Michaela Minner, who made skirt steak with a green sauce, as she says, because for the life of her, she could not pronounce the word chimichurri, which is fine. But what's not fine is that the judges said that the sauce tasted musty, and old. I don't know what flavor that would be, but when the contestant tasted it herself, she said it tasted like grass, which not the biggest fan of, so B tier because there's some stuff without sauce on it. Leona McTaghart Chapin made, what did she make? Broccoli and chicken pasta with Parmesan cheese, and she also added vodka to everything. Like a 2 shots of vodka type deal kind of thing. The broccoli is raw, the pasta's dry because most of the sauce was vodka, which sure, fuck it. Is that better or worse than the old musty sauce? Fucking, I don't know. This one has bread and cheese. Love bread and cheese. Next up is Jessie Money, who made fish tacos, and apparently the sauce had some nice flavor, but the fish was a little overcooked, and I really like fish tacos. Like, if I go to a fancy taco place and I see they have fish tacos, I'm immediately getting them, so S tier. Why not? Next up is Sirius Williams, who made nacho dip and cupcakes and a fruit salad and some sort of pizza. Anyway, the cupcakes came from a box, the cake came from a box, the frosting came from a can, the nacho dip also came from a jar, the chips were not homemade. This man truly made none of this dish, and that's why I fuck with it so hard. S tier! Next up is Elena Catlin's steak fajitas, which was dry when she tasted it. So before presenting it to the judges, she just straight up poured a water bottle over the meat. So there is just a pool of water at the, you know how fajitas are supposed to come out sizzling and real juicy? This is her interpretation of it, but yeah, no, the steak was very overcooked and very dry, and pouring water on top of it does not fix that situation. C tier. Because you got some sides. I would take a meatless tortilla with some romaine or iceberg lettuce. I'm not sure what kind of lettuce that is. What looks to be just nothing but a mashed avocado and some shredded cheese. Vegan, well, no, none of that is vegan. God, my fucking vegetarian tacos for everyone. My brain hurts. Here we have a beautiful presentation of what I've been talking about basically this entire time, where they will either tip the plate horizontally or upside down and it'll just stick to the plate. So Carrington Gilbert made lobster pasta with a champagne sauce, and it did not move from the plate. And it was also spit out, and for some reason it tasted very strongly like vinegar. No thank you, I'm good, but how am I not good? In multiple ways after doing this series. Fuck it, yeah, sure, they got asparagus. I would eat asparagus. Next up is Evie Wright, who made spaghetti bolognese and a Caesar salad, which I am not loving the way that dressing is looking on that Caesar salad, if I'm being completely honest. Also, the beef in the spaghetti was burnt, and it also didn't move when the plate was tipped horizontally. Why are all of your food so sticky? I don't know, it still looks like a semi-decent spaghetti, so high C tier. So with this being the newest season of Worst Cooks in America, I actually got to see like the promotional videos to advertise for the newest season, and this is one that I've seen a lot of, which is Joe Alvardio's orange chicken, except not the flavor orange. This bitch threw neon orange food coloring into his chicken. The noodles also do not look cooked. I don't know how you made noodles look wavy, but also not cooked at all. That's impressive. And also somewhere in there, there's some homemade noodles, except they don't look like noodles, and he only served 3 of them. My brain is fuck. English is my first and only language. Why did this series take away that ability? Either way, again, like I said, I'm not against putting orange food coloring or any food coloring into foods that don't necessarily need food coloring. If it's fun, why the fuck not? But I don't think anything about this dish is fun other than the orange food coloring. Next is Avi Boudrum's shrimp burrito bowl, which at first glance doesn't look that bad until you realize that the limes still have their peel on it, and so does the avocado, and the avocado pit was also put into the dish. I mean, if I find a piece that's still edible and doesn't have skin on it that should not be eaten, I mean, you can eat lime skin, I guess. You should not eat an avocado pit. No one fucking eat an avocado pit. Either way, still better than the watery fajitas. Next is Stacy Lopper, who made scallops with a wine sauce, some mac and cheese, some green beans. It doesn't look too bad. The judges said that the scallops were overly tough, and that, quote, that is a texture I never want to experience again. unquote. She won the season though. So I think high B tier because I would probably eat one scallop and then learn that they're not very good, but everything else looks pretty good, so sure. Next up, we got Chelsko Thompson, who made lobster and proceeded to cry for 5 minutes because she had to kill a lobster, which I'm not judging at all. I'm not judging you for feeling your feelings. I'm not judging you for feeling sad. I'm not judging anyone for having emotions over killing an innocent animal. I completely get it. I completely understand. However, I will judge you slightly if you do all of that and then proceed to kill the lobster in the most inhumane way possible, straight up boiling the motherfucker alive. Like, if you're gonna cry about killing a lobster, maybe do it instantaneously? Knife through the skull, separate, whatever. I don't know the anatomy of a lobster. You can look up humane ways to kill a lobster, but one of them is not boiling it alive. That is a way to prepare lobster, but you are quite literally boiling an animal alive. Anyway, the lobster was overcooked. We all kind of knew that was happening. No one thought that the lobster was gonna live a good life, but it's still lobster, so I guess put it with the other overcooked fish. But after that, we got Erica Coleman, who made shrimp etouffee with fried okra, except she did not devein the shrimp. So there is a shit ton of shrimp shit in the dish, and I am not okay with that. I am good. No, thank you. Where do I put this on the list, though? I want to put it in C because I would eat a piece of okra, but where in C? Yeah, sure, okay. We've done it! We've made it to the last dish of Worst Cooks in America. There are no more dishes after this. This is the last one that I have to rank besides the master ranking, and boy howdy are we ending on a fun note because Steve Crawford made chicken cordon bleu. I'm making the fucking noise that the chicken makes. Obviously, if you make chicken cordon bleu, you have to include a blue rubber chicken in serving the dish. It only logically makes sense. It makes logical sense. None of this is logical. And also nothing on that plate represents cordon bleu. I don't know. That bread, he shoved into the microwave and microwaved the French bread. He also microwaved the mashed potatoes, so the potatoes are raw, and then just poured milk into it and then topped it with cheese. Both of the judges refused to try it. It's not the worst dish I've ever seen, because now that we're at the end, I feel like I know what the worst dishes are, but it's definitely in the D tier, where if you want me to eat whatever that puck of, it looks like noodles? There are not noodles in cordon bleu! Oh my god, this is the final ranking for fucking season 27. Let me add it to the master list. It has been multiple days, probably at least an hour for you guys. I would not be surprised if we're approaching a 2-hour mark. I genuinely don't know how long this video is gonna be, but it's done. Oh my god, the completed list of every single first dish, minus a couple seasons, minus a couple dishes that weren't shown or pictured. Every single dish from the first episode of Worst Cooks in America, fully ranked, going down the list. Some notes I guess I should do, even though my brain is goddamn fucking putty. Top of the S list, we got this prime rib here. Bottom of the list is this sad, cold-ish ham and cheese sandwich with some fruit. We got pork tenderloin for the top of the A tier. Bottom tier is that like weird spinach hash that was supposed to be a pancake. Top of tier B is that sad fried chicken with the super sweet fucking sauce. Bottom tier is this Alfredo that stuck to the plate. Top tier is chicken. Bottom C tier is this like cereal, cream of mushroom or cream of something pasta. Top of the D tier is this severely overcooked steak. The bottom of the D tier is the chocolate gravy on top of the breakfast biscuits. And finally, the F tier, which is the beginning, is this chicken that looks strangely like beef. And the last place, the worst ranking to me, was the fucking tuna fish sandwich with raspberry jam in it. That's pretty bad. Yeah, this is the list. I am dead inside. I don't know what good food looks like anymore. At this point, I will eat out of the garbage. What's the worst that can happen? If the judges tasted most of these dishes, I feel like I should be fucking invincible. Oh my god. If you have any problems with my ranking, if you agree or disagree with some of my stuff, let me know in the comments, or make your own tier list, lose your mind like me. I don't recommend it. Anyway, if you want to never see this again, because I'm not doing this ever again, but if you want to see me react to, I don't know, some of the first episodes of Worst Cooks in America, really react to what they're doing rather than what they made, or I think there's also like a Worst Bakers of America, I think there's like a season or two of that I've never seen before. I feel like I would be much more qualified to do anything with that, but let me know. But that has been my own personal hell. This has been my own personal hell. Thank you guys so much for being here, and so much for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you guys next. Goodbye.